Okay.
At this point, it's on purpose. You know, if it's not a silly opening, what's the point? Mm-hmm. Yeah, just playing games all by ourselves. As you can see.
I ain't getting any screen time.
I don't think the viewers will mind. Viewers like cats.
Yeah.
And Chimney has chunky cheeks, so it's fine.
Yeah, every time she comes, she gets cat hair all up in my beard. So I'm gonna be like, yeah. Make it better. As I mentioned earlier, I'm nice and sleepy after my dinner, but ranting about games will probably wake me up.
Like it's one of us is bound to be tired, and it's quite common, isn't it? Yeah, you're like a large cat. You know, like a lion will eat an antelope and then just think, oh, that's me done for the week, and just clonk out. He's been busy all day, has his big meal, and has a little sleep. You know. Yeah, he's got to fire up his computer, his little paws on his mouse. Oh, it's terrible. Bloody lions. Oh yeah, the pre-stream bullshit. So this is a treat for the VOD watchers because this is where the real content happens, and two, it just allows viewers to turn up, and they won't turn up through like the second second one in your list, and then like, oh, what happened? What was the first one? Because that happens so much in these, like, oh, what? Because people miss half the list or some shit. So it's good to wait.
I normally
let people sort of
find you tune in. I normally find you tune in about number 7.
So we do give people a bit of time, so we preamble. But Meeseeks usually reports our streamers live in all of our Discord channels and stuff. So we wait for that, and then we tend to go. So usually about 5 minutes. Yeah, I did give them all to you, so you have no excuse. I mean, you could do it now if you want. It should work. I see we've got an advert there, which we can refer to you at the end of the stream.
Yeah. I done made a game.
So you're nervous on this stream, Steve. Why don't you tell us all about it? Why should we buy your game? Because you made it. Buy it. Yeah.
I don't like sales pitching.
No, I'm not going to make you do it either. So, but yeah.
Well, I'm good at ranting about games I like and things that other people have made, but I don't know how to be a salesperson. It feels weird. I don't make commercial games. I just make games which are weird amalgamations of strange ideas and games I've played, and don't think about commercial sellability.
Yeah, that's where good ideas come from, I think, because you're not sort of limited to, will this sell? Yes or no? No, let's just make a game that we like, and that's probably a better way to go about it, I think. That's already a 5-star review. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have a punt. Rains Down Players. It's the acting RPG where you don't have battles, you put on plays. I'm already floundering.
That'll do, though. We have some information.
It's dorky and silly, and if you like the weird games I'm talking about tonight, you might like it.
Hi, Jay. Yes, this is Steve O'Gorman. He made the Rains Down Players. You can buy it and play it right now. We have bought it but have not played it because we were going to stream it, but we weren't sure when. There's too many games to play. That's the problem.
It's I should mention it's on sale on Switch right now, but not technically in the summer sale. It's just coincidentally what happens to be on sale at the same time. So when people are browsing for sale prices, they might see it. I can put it on sale whenever I want, but I can't. You have to meet certain criteria to take part in the official Nintendo sales with their promotional muscle behind it.
Okay, makes sense.
But there are conditions you have to meet. I won't reveal them because I might be breaking my NDA. But
has to contain Super Mario as a character.
But basically, every indie coincidentally has their game on sale at the same time as the summer sale because everyone just goes into the what's currently on sale list. No, my game actually showed up in a Kotaku article last time Nintendo were doing a sale, and they just wrote as if I was in the sale. I really wasn't, but I can trick people that I'm on.
I mean, take the plug. That sounds good.
Oh, everyone does it. I don't actually know if that's the case. I kind of yeah, there is some awful stuff. I kind of assume you get free reign to upload whatever you want once you've pitched one game through the quality shield, but it makes sense.
Quality shield. Is that their official name for it?
I don't know. I just asked Nintendo nicely and they let me put my game on their Switch. Literally all it was. No, it's really easy actually. Just a couple. It's one of the things where because the engine I use, 95% of the task was incredibly easy, and then the remaining 5% took weeks. All of my fonts exploded.
Annoying little niggles like that. Well, optimization is going to be a huge issue, right? Getting it to actually run.
It depends on the engine. I use Game Maker Studio, which is very portable to whatever. A big problem is with a lot of indies I've spoken to who do 3D stuff is that they started making their game 2 years ago, and then suddenly the Switch is a thing, and their publishers are like, "Gotta be on the Switch." And
oof.
I think Unity has lots of trouble scaling down for the Switch because Unity's.
John's getting loud. Hello, John.
Yeah, but Capcom have always done that. They have quite a high opinion of how much their old games are worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I do wonder if it's kind of an inflated sense of ego because they did seemingly demand a slot in the Nintendo Direct to talk about Resident Evil 5 and 6, which no one cares about. I haven't played much.
It's just a lot of Resident Evil to play, though. There's a lot of it. Yeah, you wouldn't talk to anyone for like a week if you did that. Just FYI, James is all.
That'll do it.
Cannot hear him at all.
It should be fixed now. Nothing happened. Don't worry.
Oof,
It
that
wasn't me
sucks.
being an idiot. It's fine. See, this is why we do the filler bits.
So that's
at the
10
beginning.
minutes of nothing from you, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't been really saying much during this.
No. My only regret is not muting Sean as well, so that like Steve being all nervous, and it turns out it's just been Steve talking this entire time.
Yeah, that'd have been nice. That'd have been nice.
No.
So I suppose we can get started.
No, our viewership just shot up though, but like 3 people joined, but I unmuted.
As soon as you unmuted the mic, boom, they're all in the door.
Yeah.
I'm actually having a minor tech issue, so I've just got to run next door for 2 seconds.
Okay, no worries.
Okay, that's cool.
I was going to ask Steve to give us a rundown of the format, but I guess that's going to be slightly difficult given that he's no longer here. So,
shall we look at Steve's manga collection while we're here?
I have been. I was looking at it in Discord just now because it was bigger.
What do you reckon? Is that Dragon Ball Z? I like his plushies.
I actually don't know what any of those are. I couldn't work it out. Yeah, it's a decent collection. There's a lot of stuff there. Some nice weeby figures. A little looks like a Google VR or something up there. No, it's not. It's got
that's just straight up Attack on Titan down there. That's just Mikasa, isn't it?
Mm.
Have you been watching? I know you used to be super into Attack on Titan, but have you watched season 3?
Nope, not yet.
Season 3 is amazing, dude.
I will. I'll get there. I've been watching other shit, so
that's fair.
Soon. Plus, I'm terrible at finishing off series. I'm just really bad at it, especially if there's a break. Like, I just to get back to it sucks.
Hey, Steve. We were just trying to.
What manga do you have?
Yeah, we were just trying to figure out your manga collection while you were gone. Those bits are One Piece. For one's a bit.
Don't worry, no one's going to be
definitely One
everyone
Piece.
here is a weeb. It's fine.
What have I got? This shelf is kind of belong to US.
Oh, your voice is cutting out while you're not facing the microphone. Sorry.
I'll just stay here. I can imagine what's.
That's cool.
Oh, Tim's back. Tim's back to diffuse this awkward fact that I can't turn around.
Maz is saying watch Symphogear. I think I saw that on Crunchyroll's feed. Are they doing a new season of that? Because from what I remember, Symphogear, it's idols, basically idol mech police is what they like have these tiny mech suits and they're powered by being idols, basically.
Was that the one Tom showed me before?
Probably, yeah. They showed me in Charlotte, and we were all
and
like,
they sing songs and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't remember what they do. In fact, they have to like shoot through a mountain so that a train can go through it or something, and they do it.
That's
singing.
The one.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad I have Note backing me up on Attack on Titan being so good, though.
Yeah, that's the clip I got shown, Maz.
Suplexing, yeah, that's it.
Just shrugging as hard as possible. Like, okay, where can I get this?
Everyone knows me, and this will come up on the list at one point. But if there's anything in a game or an anime you can do where you can suplex something that isn't normally suplexed, then I'm going to like it a lot.
Yeah, but, you turn that bad Steam review into a good Steam review with a simple suplex. Bones.
Well, we got a few people chatting now. Oh, you right, Steve?
One of the series I included features suplexing something improbable, but not the particular installment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to that point. I think for reasons maybe you're not aware of, I'm particularly looking forward to getting to that part of the top 10 because there's going to be a lot of dialogue during that bit. But for now, Steve, why don't you go over your criteria? Because you've done a different sort of selection process.
Yeah, we have a whole new format, I've been told, but I don't know about it. So yeah, what's the plan?
Oh yeah, basically I waded in and changed the format without permission. So I wanted to kind of the latter 5 games of this are close to being kind of my top 5 games of all time, but in general I wanted the list to give kind of a broad picture of me and what I'm into as a gamer. So rather than having duplication of similar games, I kind of put it into loose groups. So for each point there's a game which almost made the top 10 in a similar vein to the game that actually is this format's really hard to explain.
But when you were presenting your games, You were worried about, no, there's too many JRPGs. So it's like, right, let's just make one number be a JRPG, like 7, for example. And you'll have your favorite JRPG as 7, wasn't it? And then you'll have like the ones that came close to being your favorite JRPG as the runner-ups.
So it's runner-ups as you go, and one game per genre, as far as I understand.
They're kind of genres, kind of loose themes.
Okay, loosey-goosey.
Some are more straightforward than others, and it could be fun for Sean to play around trying to guess what the criteria is, I think.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Two other things, I guess. There's probably a couple of like games over the years. There's games I've excluded, which I think are probably objectively some of the best games ever, but I ain't got anything to say about them.
Okay, well, feel free to bring them in while we're in a number that's connected to their genre, if that makes sense.
They tend to be the big AAA games that everyone's played, and I've got not much more to say than, yeah, that was pretty freaking great. But that's not a personal opinion, that's more objective.
Well, it can still be handy to compare them, though. You could say, like, well, we're in the shooter category, and Call of Duty is the #1 best-selling whatever in shooting, but I don't like Call of Duty because so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sometimes it's with some people we found they might not talk about a game by itself too extensively, but when comparing it to another game, suddenly you can draw a lot of parallels and there's a lot to talk about there. But do you want to... I feel like we've explained the criteria, but it'll make more sense as we go along anyway, I think. Shall we jump straight into number 10?
Yeah.
Do the thing.
I'm feeling shy, so let's give me something to talk about.
Okay, so you start with the runner-up and then into the actual game, and I assume it will continue like that. So
yeah, so this is the screen that you're going to see a lot of throughout the stream. The runner-ups, the game isn't in there yet because I thought Steve might want to have a gentle tease about what our first runner-up is before I throw the logo up there.
Yeah, number 10 is very much of the moment because this is a series of games that I only just started playing back in November.
Okay.
And I'm now like 6 games deep in this series.
Fuck.
And I'm under, so it has to be on the list. In a few years' time, it might have waned, but
it's got to be a JRPG though, right? If there's 6 of them,
is it a JRPG? It's.
And for the longest time, I'm curious to see what other people's impression of this series, because for the longest time I slept on this series because I was like, this just won't be my kind of thing. I never paid attention to it. So yeah, if we show what the runner-up is, it will reveal.
It won't reveal it right away because this is the logo for it, and it doesn't say what the game is, but it says what the subtitle is.
Yeah, well, it doesn't actually say.
Well, that says Ryuga Gotoku 2, which is a very long name. So in the West, they were like, that's long. Let's not call it Like a Dragon. Let's call it Yakuza.
Right. So this is Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Yeah, this is the remake of Yakuza 2, which came out last year.
Okay. So what platform was Yakuza 2 originally for?
PS2.
PS2. And then they've remade it for the PC, which is Kiwami 2. For everything.
Yeah, everything modern. Yeah, so the first 2 games, which were PS2 games, have now been lavishly remade because they were showing their age a lot.
Yeah, this is a series that I want to get into, but I've never really figured out how, because they seem... and this is why I was so impressed when you said...
I will explain how.
Go for it, my man.
Because I have fallen hard for it in the last couple of months. But yeah, Yakuza is... Am I the only person really in this group who's played it? Oh, nice.
Yeah, but not many people have played this.
Not many people have played this, no.
How do you think Yakuza? Picture kind of a 3D open world Streets of Rage, where you wander around Japanese streets getting into fistfights with all manner of thugs, but with an amazing, gripping, yet also highly melodramatic, late-night drama-esque storyline and ridiculous side quests.
I imagine that's why Maz asked about the side quest. Do you have a favourite side quest?
Oh gods, I've played so many of the damn games.
Like, what's the most exciting side quest you've done, or like a memorable side quest? Just to give us a sort of flavour of what sort of thing to expect from those things.
I'll talk about one that is funny, but also poignant because it's the moment I realized, wait, what is this series?
Oh, okay, perfect.
Because I thought this series was Japanese GTA. I thought it was deadly serious. And until I was on Twitter one night, and a friend of mine shared the lead translator of the series. He'd posted a picture of like what he called his proudest moment in translation, and it was a nursery filled with really buff Yakuza dudes with stony serious faces, all wearing diapers,
Okay.
pointing at Kiryu saying, "Let's pacify this bitch." And I was like, wait, I thought this was serious crime drama, the game, with stern-faced serious people.
No, it's not at all.
And it
is
is, and it is serious. It does have
okay.
the most stern-faced, stoic protagonist in the history of gaming, but he is surrounded by bizarre stuff, constant bizarreness.
I like that.
Yeah, and
It's got
Kiryu
comic
is
relief all over the place, but not necessarily related to the main story, I assume.
Yeah, but sometimes the main
That's
story
nice.
can also be absurd. In summary, Kazuma Kiryu is probably the perfect video game protagonist because he is just steely serious all the time in whatever he does, whether it's punching the entire Chinese triad in the face. Like, he never kills anyone. He'll just go in and punch up the entire triad, ending them eventually. Like, he doesn't kill anyone, but they stop operation because he just punched them all so hard that they're not going to come back.
Punch that business knowledge right out of it.
But he's equally stoically serious when having to do voiceover work for a yaoi video game or having to do shirtless male modeling.
And is this the character that's in
this is all
2?
stuff that happens. Yes, this is all stuff that happens just in Kiwami 2.
Fucking hell, wow. I thought you were talking about the entire franchise as a whole. This is all just one game.
Yeah, so this is a long series. Yakuza's 1 through 6 is kind of a sprawling epic. Like, it is Kiryu's story. It spans like 15 years in game time.
Oh, wow.
Like, mild spoilers, but not major. Like the first game, Kiryu is in his 30s and struggling to get out of the Yakuza. By the time the series has ended, he's in his 50s and has an adoptive grandchild. Like, this series is an investment.
Is it kind of... Oh, what's that fucking game that was for the Dreamcast that they got the third one coming out via Kickstarter? Yeah, is it kind of like what Shenmue tried to be, but a lot more serious?
It does seem like that, doesn't it?
It's Shenmue, but much more refined.
Didn't they... Sorry, didn't... I swear a few years ago, didn't they have a zombie spin-off as well?
Yeah, there was a zombie spin-off.
You just say that. Yeah, it's a normal thing. Yeah, this is a zombie spin-off, yeah.
There's a zombie spin-off. There's 2 spin-offs set in feudal Japan, which never came out outside of Japan.
Oh, really?
See, that sounds great.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
It is literally all the characters from the series, just
yeah, that's the sort of shit I love. It's like an OVA, but an entire game.
Pretty much. The zombie one, I think, is like that.
Yeah. But this is... Oh, sorry.
But I'll quickly say, Kiwami 2 is the one that I have, like, most kind of back-to-back individual, like, that scene was great, that scene was great, that bit was great moments. Like, it's kind of the peak so far for me of the core series.
Okay.
It's the only game where I've fist fought 2 tigers, two actual tigers, to save my adoptive daughter from a golden castle full of ninjas.
So, as far as set pieces go, this is your favourite of the bunch?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I spent ungodly amounts of time managing my hostess class, which is a shockingly fully featured mini game within a game.
I think I've heard about people getting addicted to it. Is every game have that? Because
every game has so much stuff. Like, I've never seen everything in a playthrough. I finish the games and then I go on YouTube. Did I miss anything? And I've always missed so much. I missed like a whole mini game in one.
Yeah, I swear there's... I think I heard about one guy who played a Yakuza game. There's like a fishing game, and he just ended up only playing the fishing game for like a month or something. But,
the point's in...
Let's move on to the actual
I have a
Yakuza,
nice
shall we?
segue planned.
Yeah,
that was one hell of a runner-up.
Yeah.
I suppose it introduces the series, doesn't it?
I've gone hard into this series the last couple of months. As I said, I just started Yakuza 5 last so, but as I said, it's an intimidating series to get into. There are 6 games, there's a continuity. it feels like a big undertaking. So what if there was the equivalent of Yakuza the movie, like a nice self-contained game that completely stands apart from the series and is the best starting point for newcomers? And that is...
Oh, that's me. I do a spit.
That is the real number 10.
Ah, that's what that game's all about. That's why they called it Zero.
Yeah. See, initially you might think, oh, prequel, that means I've got to know about the series. And although there are little nudges of like, oh yeah, it's that character.
The volume's a bit whack.
Yeah, just bring it down a bit.
Zero is really cleverly designed to get new people into the series, to the extent that when they remade Yakuza 2, they included continuing plot threads from Zero. Like, they're very clear about, oh, am I doing business at all? Oh, people who can't talk. The sound is gone.
Oh, you should be able to... Yeah, we can hear you, if that's what you're worried about.
Yeah. Zero is a bespoke starting point for new players. It's how I got into the series. It started all this. It has punching, lots of punching, shooting.
Just smashed a sofa over a guy.
But it's also set in the 80s, so it has disco dancing.
So, this is set in the 80s.
Could you not tell?
No, sorry. That's fine. Oh, fucking hell. Is that... Yeah, it's published by
shit.
Sega, isn't it? So you got
Outrun
Sega
was in
games in
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
it's set in the 80s, and Yakuza 1 is set in the 90s?
2005.
Alright, so it's quite...
It's quite a time skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zero's just great fun. It leans into kind of the fun 80s aesthetic. You get to play as Goro Majima, who is, like, I love him even slightly more than Kiryu.
Kiryu being the main character
in a beautiful way.
Okay.
And yeah, it's everything I said about Yakuza, but self-contained with a story that wraps itself up really nicely and shit tons of melodrama. It's great.
This is the one that I know I'm going to play this one if I dive into the series, but I think I'm put off by the hours. I think I'm intimidated by the hours people have got into it, even though I don't think anyone's ever said that. I get the impression that this is a game that can kind of last as long as you want it to, based on how much you want to get out of it. Because
I think I was in kind of the 40-ish hours finished.
Okay, that's not too bad, because I was worried it was going to be...
I tend to do the bits I find fun and skip the stuff I don't like and move along.
So the game supports that, does it? Because there's just this many mini games, you don't get punished if there's a mini game you don't feel like doing. You can just say fuck it, I don't want to do it. Oh really?
That's good.
And do the mini games actually have an impact on the main story or the abilities you have throughout the main story, or?
You get experience, but you get experience for doing everything, mini games or fighting.
Okay.
It's really easy to skip.
You can just take a break from the main story if you want, and just go and mess around and do as much stuff as you want, and then carry on any time, or just. I suppose that's the point of an open world game, though, really, isn't it? Just take it at your own pace, go and explore.
I think so. One of the things that sold me on Yakuza was there's a interview with a director who, particularly, I think he dislikes it when people compare it to GTA because the message for games send towards violence are completely different, because GTA to some extent encourages you to murder like police officers because you get guns and murder random people because you get money, but in Yakuza you just straight up can't attack civilians, can you?
No, all the fights are started by other people.
Yeah, it's all in in the nature of self-defense, right?
Pretty much.
Have you played a GTA game, James?
Yeah, I have, and I know in GTA you can kill anyone at any point.
Yeah, but have you played through the story?
Nah.
Yeah, no, I can tell. It's not what GTA's about, man.
No, but it's less about what the game tells you to do and more about what it allows you to do. Because a lot of people have felt limited when they go into Yakuza because they can't kill civilians. But I guess it's just it's the narrative that the game's.
I did notice when Kiwami was on the PS Plus selection. The percentage rates for the trophies are incredibly low, and I kind of figure it was a lot of people switching it on, going like, "Huh, this isn't GTA. Everyone's speaking Japanese. I'm out." Because
That's true.
even the finish the tutorial trophy was like rare.
Really? Because
Yeah.
it's the name of the game does. There couldn't be a more GTA sounding Japanese game than just if you call it Yakuza. Really, is it? It's the stereotypical Japanese mafia name.
Well, that's Western localization at work because the Japanese name.
Okay, yeah.
The Japanese name means like a dragon.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's entirely for Westerners' localization's fault for that, really, isn't it? But then.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The PS2 releases, they tried really hard to kind of change a lot of it through localization by giving it kind of a dub that was very GTA-ish and
Oh, really?
getting like crime people from crime movies into it.
Okay. As I feel like I'd only want to play this on an English dub if it was a really bad English dub. Like really terrible, like old school martial arts film where like the voice flaps, the lip flaps don't match in the slightest.
So what, Shemu's voice acting?
Yeah.
Because that's so bad.
Yakuza's so Japanese, and part of the pleasure of Yakuza is that it feels like kind of a Japan simulator. It's an open world, but it's very small open, so you can go into every shop and
That's nice. That's
wander into Don Quixote and listen to the theme song, buy a bunch of tissue packs.
Wait, so does it actually have licensed like shops and stuff in it?
All of the licensed stuff, yeah.
Really? I had no idea.
I believe in the new game, Judgment, not only have they licensed some famous brand of like some chef's steakhouse, but the chef himself is in there, like at his shop, and you can make friends with.
Oh man, you mentioning Don Quixote just like brought back memories. Have you been to Japan yourself, Steve?
Several times actually.
Yeah.
I started playing Yakuza 5 last night, and that's set in Fukuoka.
In
my
where,
favourite
sorry?
Japanese city. Fukuoka.
Oh, where's that?
In the southwest of Japan.
Oh, okay. And you say you've been there yourself?
Yeah, I love Fukuoka as a city, so suddenly looking around a corner and going, oh, I know this place. This is close to
I had that last year. I had that a bit when I was playing Persona 5 with Tokyo. There was like a shopping district that I remember being in Japan for, because I thought, oh yeah, this is like the Camden Market of Tokyo. And then there was a picture of it in the game, and it fucked with my head a bit. But we've got one little bonus video for Yakuza, haven't we?
Oh, I do have one proviso, since I'm recommending Yakuza to a lot of people.
Go for it.
The one thing I'm not sticking on this series does have a few really, really cool, strong female characters.
Okay.
But it does have a lot of sleazy objectification in certain parts.
No. Is that
not much of it? It's all very optional because it's set in like scummy pleasure districts of Tokyo and beyond. I do remember in Yakuza 0 you have to mandatorily do it once. There's a really gross kind of bikini wrestling mini game that you bet on.
Oh.
And I just felt ick. So I did it the one time you had to, and then never went near that building again.
Yeah.
So
Is it the mini game coming up now in the trailer?
yeah, that's the one.
Is it that?
That one.
Yeah, just putting that out there as a disclaimer, since I'm recommending this to a whole bunch of people. It's a wonderful series, but it does
sometimes
drop occasionally in that respect.
Sometimes a disclaimer like that does wonders, particularly for me, because sometimes someone could recommend something and it can have that element of objectification towards women, and I can worry like, oh, is this what part of an element that they recommended it to me because of this, or are they recommending it to me in spite of this? You know, but the difference can make a huge difference in as if I end up watching the thing at all, really. But
yeah, let's close out with some
nice
karaoke.
some nice karaoke. I'll bring it up on the stream. So, how many hours into the game are you when you have access to this?
You don't have to go very far.
You could just straight up go into the game and nah. Oh, I got a little kappa with a little CD on his head. That's so clever. Oh.
Literally, I started playing Yakuza 5 last night, and within like 15 minutes of starting the game, I'd gone into an arcade and got into the Purikura cabinet and made a beautiful photograph of Kiryu. Where is it?
This is ridiculous.
I love the shitty little percussion noises as well.
I'm just trying to find... Yeah, this is me like 15 minutes into Yakuza 5. Just
Hang on, let me bring you up a bit.
Making beautiful Purikura.
Aw, he looks so happy.
The text says, "Come at me if you want to die." Yeah.
And all this for just some XP.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
And
The costume
yeah,
change.
there are music videos.
I like the choreography and the backup dancers and the stage.
Yeah. How many?
I
Oh, the ice
think he is
skating.
still in that same room, but
Oh, they're roller skating.
they're just rollerblading.
If
No, roller
if
skating.
ever I became confident enough to do karaoke, this would be my dreams. But
Oh.
You'd have to. I mean, the thing is with karaoke, just go all out. That's the best way of doing it,
I'll go up with
especially
you.
if it embarrasses you.
I'll tell you what, Steve. I'll do it with you, and I'll just conveniently have my microphone be broken, and yours will work, and you'll never know any difference. But how many songs are there in the game for that? Oh, 100, nice.
there's normally quite a few. Depends on the game, 5 or so.
Do they all have their own choreographed dance routine as well?
It can vary depending on
Oh,
which
okay.
game when it was made. Some are
Oh shit!
big budget.
No,
Oh,
spoiler.
spoilers!
I forgot to loop. Sorry, my bad. Well, I think that's the stream telling us to move on to the next game. Any closing remarks on Yakuza before we move on?
I think I've yammered about it.
Yeah, cool. Right.
I haven't really talked about the gameplay. I've just said it's fun. It's heckin' fun.
It seems tricky to talk about a gameplay like that because there must be every minigame has completely different gameplay, really, doesn't it? So, but this is what the fuck? Oh, I remember what your runner-up is for this one now. All right, cool.
Yeah. This is a weird one,
Yeah,
in a sense.
Hmm.
cool. Go ahead.
Oh, if you just want to put the logo up for this one, sorry,
Yeah.
I was waiting for.
Cool. So
I
this
do
is
have a small concern before we go too mad. That the number 10 was half an hour.
Whoa,
So
Jesus!
we're gonna, we have, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
see,
what
I
I'm
told you,
saying.
Steve. Once you get going,
That's exactly what we need.
Yeah.
It's just, he was honestly, before the stream started, Steve's going, "Oh, I hope I got enough things to say. I was all nervous, worried about what to do." Half an hour,
Yeah.
Steve.
just remember.
Yakuza's been my particular binge lately. That's why.
So,
I
depending on
talk
what
about
time
it
we
a lot.
want to finish, we might have to cut time on some of these, but we'll
don't
just bear
think
that in
I-
mind going forward. But
Right. Yeah, just remember that there's no runner-up between 1 and 2 though. So
there are, yeah, but that's the thing. Yeah, there are still more. But okay, but anyway,
Let's see how it
that was just me.
Right,
Please
scrap up.
continue.
So I think the one you chose for this is interesting because it's a bastard child for me because of the core series.
Well, I mean,
this one wasn't in my pick
We'll
of the
pop it up,
series.
and I'll probably
but-
say something. shocking as well.
Technically the best one of the lot.
Because this isn't actually my favorite Smash Brothers.
Really?
No, my favorite Smash Brothers is Wii U / Ultimate.
Yeah, I feel that's
Hmm.
okay. But Melee is your runner-up. How come?
Okay, this is about couch co-op. This is about
Yes, that's why I like it too.
this-
That's why
this is-
James
this
likes
is-
Brawl.
this is about my formative years playing video games on the couch.
Oh,
with my
there we
friends.
go. Yeah, same logic how I used. Yeah,
And Melee was one of the games that we played the most of.
yeah.
But it's a runner-up because there were two sides of the room. Those of us who have Nintendo consoles, those who don't.
Right.
And when you play Melee, when you play coach co-op with your friends, you just want something to play brainlessly for a couple of hours while you have a chat and catch up and have a good old time. And it becomes not fun very quickly for the people who don't play Smash versus the people who do play Smash. So I instead went with what I consider the most, I guess, egalitarian couch co-op game of my youth, which we already got a sneak peek of. So let's rush straight on.
And then I need to press the smack the transition up. There we go.
Back before they figured out how aiming controls worked. This is what we.
Where FPS counters couldn't go past 10.
Nope.
It's beautiful.
Here's the thing about GoldenEye. Like, I did think about maybe picking something like Time Splitters 2 for this, but Time Splitters 2
You want to
has
turn the volume down
Yeah,
a bit,
sorry,
James.
sorry.
something like Time Splitters 2 has lots of different guns. It has dual abilities for guns. It has lots of bits that someone who's played the game might know and might not know. GoldenEye 007 is gun shoot. It's just a game where you stride around corridors, following the radar, and then suddenly you run into someone and a load of completely unskilled, crazy, panicky gunfire erupts and someone dies, and it's usually nothing to do with skill. And that's the simple pleasure of GoldenEye. Like there's nothing to learn. It just is what it is, and I played a ton of it as a kid.
You saying there's not much to learn about it is a good point, especially when comparing to. So the chat's bringing up talk of Perfect Dark, which I'm on. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Perfect Dark is fantastic, but that's leaning into you got to teach people there's a secondary weapon fire, and they've got to spend time learning what secondary buttons do on each weapon. And GoldenEye's gun. This gun's bigger than your gun. It's going to win.
Yeah.
And unload an entire clip.
So with Perfect Dark, I remember trying to get other kids to play it, and they just banned the Farsight because
same.
The Farsight is the most broken piece of shit if you know how to play it with it, and no one else does. Sean, have you ever played Perfect Dark?
I've not played Perfect Dark.
So, for reference, the Farsight is a sniper rifle that instant kills. It shoots through the wall, and when you aim, it has an X-ray mode that looks through the walls and automatically finds opponents. So you could just kill anyone anywhere in the map.
It sounds like the railgun from Red Faction, but still somehow more overpowered than that. Just outrageous. What the hell?
But
why is that? Why did they put that in the game? That's really dumb.
It was based on some stupid Arnold Schwarzenegger film that came out about the same time.
Oh, was it?
Oh, really? Okay, that's odd.
God, what the hell film was that? I just remember the gimmick being that he had guns. Rare, probably. Like, that's up.
But,
it was broken as heck.
Yeah, you bringing up, as well as chat bringing up the Perfect Dark GoldenEye comparison, because what you mentioned is the multiplayer aspect being what puts it on your top 10 list. And if more people are familiar with GoldenEye than Perfect Dark, then more people are going to want to play GoldenEye than Perfect Dark, so you're going to get more multiplayer out of GoldenEye than Perfect Dark. So no matter how much I'd agree with chat that Perfect Dark is a better game, if you're looking for multiplayer fun, GoldenEye just has to win, because no one else wants to play Perfect Dark. Everyone bought GoldenEye.
I mean, there wasn't many games like GoldenEye, especially with the 4-way split screen where you could just shoot your friends. There wasn't much of that, other than like PC stuff, right?
Yeah, not on N64, I don't think.
No,
but there's Turok, but I don't know how. I don't think that had a
don't be silly,
multiplayer
James.
mode or.
As an aside, the single player GoldenEye really ahead of its time, having like punching objectives and
optional objectives.
Going through corridors. But it's on this list because it was my go-to dumb multiplayer fun game.
All of the guns had such defining sound effects as well. You know, no guns sounded similar. You could hear a noise from the other side of the map and know immediately what gun they had.
Oh yeah, great gun sounds.
The
rocket launcher just is the sound of fear.
Oh yeah, well,
it just screams at you.
Oh, and fucking every gun you can dual wield as well in this, can't you? So if you do the cheat for all weapons, you can dual wield like missile launchers, and you're just walking around like missile launcher on each arm. I think Nert talking about a PC comparison. I'd like to know how many PC gamers got on board with the GoldenEye multiplayer sort of bandwagon.
I tried it and just thought it was the worst thing I've ever played.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
But I just want to make the point of like I'm looking at chat saying this sort of shit, but I'm not saying GoldenEye isn't a bad game and it shouldn't be on the list, because everyone's going to say the same thing about my first-person shooter game that I picked, like Halo. Like I spent ages sitting on the sofa with my friends playing Halo. Doesn't mean it's a good game and I have to like it.
It's just the age difference, really. What's the age difference
it's
between
just
you
it,
and me?
but
It's probably the difference
kind of
between
irrelevant.
GoldenEye and Halo.
Yeah, as kind of a relevant illustration, like, I never had an Xbox. Whenever I go play Halo with my friends, they'd be killing me to death, and I'd be like, guys, I don't know how to drive the flying scooter thing. They're like, haha, that's mine.
No, I think you've raised a really good point of how easy and accessible GoldenEye is as well, because all the guns look like they do what they do as well. Whereas Halo, you pick up a gun and it's like, what the fuck is this thing? I don't know.
Yeah, space tech. But you say that, look at those guns and I can't tell what they are. And I played GoldenEye with my friends and they all wrecked me. And then I had the exact same experience going vice versa into a different game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but just didn't get it. And they didn't want to stop and teach me anything either. It's like, okay, well, I am not jumping on this hype train. Sorry, lads.
That's all right. I may be misled. Like, maybe accidentally everyone I play this with had access to it. Who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, that's not to say that your experience of the game should be changed by mine. So.
Oh, that fucking death noise as well. It's giving me flashbacks as well. Happening over and over again.
See, I can appreciate that.
Also, do you guys miss screen watching, or are you glad that with internet it's not a thing anymore? You know, that whole like knowing that someone's cheating by looking at your screen to see where you are. Because
I never really cared in GoldenEye because, as I said, it's just following the map and the radar to where someone is and then going nuts.
Because there is that game on PC that it is. I think it's just called Screen Watchers, where every character screen cheats. That's it. Yeah, where every player's model is invisible. You can only tell where they are by looking at their screen, in the same way that you used to with like GoldenEye.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a really good idea. Actually, when everyone was obsessed with Black Ops, I tried it once, but because I never played FPS on consoles, it's like, how do you? Yeah, it's really hard to read chat and talk to two people at the same time, isn't it? How do you play it?
Yeah, I feel that now. Oh. Like the especially with console controls, like I could quite happily destroy them with a keyboard and mouse, but as soon as they hand me a controller, it's like, okay, so how do I go prone and shoot you? They've mastered it with their control pad, but I can't plug in a keyboard and mouse. That's not a problem for today's kids. You can just plug a keyboard and mouse into an Xbox now and it works. Hooray! We've finally got there. But yeah, it's just a pain in the butt, like aiming with a stick. I mean, I can do it on Halo, but COD's a whole different ballgame. Like me.
Oh, I can see my mouse.
Stupid friends not teaching each other how to play games. You'll suck.
Oh, I don't know. You know, going back to Melee just briefly for that. Like, Sakurai, the director, always mentions he's really happy that it's a game that's easy for people to learn and to teach people, but particularly in the days of Melee, when I was teaching people to play Smash Bros, it would take ages for them to learn how to do double jump into up B recovery onto the stage.
That's the most basic shit too.
My mates could never figure out.
I think the biggest problem for newcomers there is that every single character an incredibly distinct moveset. It's not like, oh, that's your fireball button. It's like, oh, that with this character makes you teleport that way. Oh, you teleport yourself on stage.
That is true, because back when Smash Brothers 1 came out, that was in Pokemon's peak popularity, so everyone was playing as Pikachu. And I'm like, you should play as Mario. It's your first time. His up B's really easy. It's just a diagonal line. And they're like, nah, I'm going to play as Pikachu. And it's like, okay, you're not going to recover your up B because it's a fucking zigzag.
The thing is, like, especially with Melee, like, every character's move that shares the button layout for it, like an up B, you know it's going to move you upwards to some extent, or you can use it to recover. And it's the same for every character, so it did have that going for it. Like, your B move will fire a projectile, or unless you're Peach, it won't. You just wiggle Toad at them for a bit. And then down B is fucking whatever.
What about Ness's up B?
That was exactly what I was going to say. Like, low key, one of my favorite things about Smash is watching someone pick it up who's getting on with it, but like really enjoying trying new characters, and they play Ness, and I'm like,
yeah, the up B is technically still the recovery move. It will make you move upwards or in a direction you want to go.
But no one
it just requires a few extra steps to do it.
Yeah, no one has ever recovered on the first time or using an up B as Ness or Lucas.
No, you're like halfway off. You're just at the edge of Final Destination. You press up B. He squats down. The lightning fires up. You watch the lightning continue up onto the stage, and you fall to your death and wonder what just happened. And then you go, Nez is shit. And then you
Smash
press
Ultimate.
start, hold all the buttons down, and go back to character select. That's
Smash Ultimate's so good for that these days now, because you can combo into his up B launch now. I don't know how they do it, but you can, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
that's crazy.
Yeah. Shall we move on to Numero Otto? I think that's Italian.
Oh, I've kind of
Thanks, dude.
I've forgotten the order on so.
Okay, I'll give you a little peek of what the runner-up is of this one. Sean, look away for a sec. You got two runner-ups for this one. You got this one and that one.
Oh yeah, I thought it might be this.
And I'm just gonna buffer up the video. Cool. Okay.
Can I look now?
Oh yeah, you can look now. All right.
Hello.
Steve, go ahead.
Let's just put one on the screen.
Put them both on the
Which
screen
one's
now?
first?
Or
Just put one up.
one up?
I think in all these cases, just go straight in with putting whatever the first logo is.
Bam.
Okay. Super Metroid is representing
Quality game.
the very real genre, which is the Metroidvania.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Officially renowned genre.
Although in these days it was just called the Metroid, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I love me some Metroidvania games. It's basically a genre of me. I pay several a year.
Yeah. They've made so many of them recently as well, haven't they? It's a really popular genre.
Yeah. In interconnected worlds filled with dread and danger, where always invariably you start the game terrible and getting your ass kicked. And by the end of the game, you are a god, and it's not because the game has gotten easier, it's because you've just kind of clicked with this world and you can traverse it so quickly, and you know all of the how to use all the abilities at your disposal the best, and it's just such a satisfying thing when it all comes together.
So, for this runner-up in particular, how many Metroids have you played? Have you played all of them, or?
I've played Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion, and the first and the third.
Of Prime? So
I was going to ask, like, Prime's a whole different ball game, right?
Yeah,
it's not.
It still
really
follows
a
Metroidvania, just not 2D.
In a lot of the bits that matter, it really keeps to it though, because it's never like an FPS. You can't just run in and win through.
It's not Doom, no.
It still requires you to learn the rules of the world, see how the world slots together, and the rules of traversal and how your ability set grows and expands your traversal ability.
Because
I really like Prime. I think it really did a really good job at capturing Metroid and bringing it into 3D.
I think the ones you've played are more or less the main ones I would recommend to people. Metroid 1 on the NES is just balls-to-wall difficult and hasn't aged well at all, if you ask me.
Yeah.
It doesn't explain anything.
I could admire it for when it was made, but...
Yeah, at the time, considering there's nothing out there like it. But Super Metroid's just... Well, single-handedly established a new genre of gaming. And then Metroid Fusion for the Game Boy Advance is personally my favourite of the Metroid series. Metroid Fusion basically is the main... So in all the Metroids, there's normally a rhythm to the power-ups you get. You always kind of get your charged laser first, you get your morph ball next, you get your missiles next. And I feel like Metroid Fusion was the only one that really shook up that order. Because like normally you get an ice beam in all the other Metroids, but in Metroid Fusion, you get an ice missile. And it just sort of shakes things up a little bit. And it has an interesting story as well. It's sort of... It's the first one that straight up has like dialogue, really, isn't it? It's not voice acting, but Super Metroid is generally renowned as, well, also one of the best speedrunning games of all time, and also just the pinnacle of the series. Like I don't think they've ever really sort of gotten it better than Super Metroid. They've just sort of done like, let's do it this way instead.
For what is essentially the first game in its fully formed genre, it got so much right the first time.
Yeah. It even had some crazy ass physics with the sort of grapple beam, didn't it? Where you could actually swing across. So that shit was years ahead of its time. I don't even know. The reason why I never finished it personally is because eventually you get an upgrade called the X-ray visor, and I was just I found myself X-raying every single block in the game to see if anything was hidden, and I just stopped making progress, and I had to stop playing.
Oh man.
Because it is Metroid games, like, they're super completionisty. They're one of those games that always has the percentage near the save file. But then all Metroidvanias are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm good at ignoring that. I'm good at just getting powerful enough to beat the game.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to play it, and then go back into it. Because, well, it's always best to just find the upgrades once you've got all of the core upgrades anyway. Like all the missile packs and health packs. Once you've got all the abilities to let you navigate the world, then go back and fully explore the world, I find. I can't even remember what your other runner-up was in this one. Oh yeah, it's interesting that you put it. Yeah, it's interesting that you put it on this category.
Let's shoot. Because I've never played a Souls game, but I've played Bloodborne. And I love Bloodborne, and I kind of put it under the same banner in terms of the kind of experience it gives you. It's an interconnected world filled with dread. Everything can kill you, but by the end, you are the master of this world, and you stride around it confidently. And it's all on your own back, so to speak.
It's interesting you make the comparison, because what people really like about Metroid is, for a Nintendo game, there is a strong feeling of isolation and everything wanting to kill you. And Bloodborne, even though it's not set in space at all, it does capture that same feeling. There is some interaction with people, but they're normally insane. So it's like you're not physically by yourself. You're not the only intelligent life form on this planet, but you're potentially the only sane thing on this planet. It does kind of capture the same feeling. But Bloodborne isn't quite as reliant on upgrades. I feel Bloodborne's more reliant on your own personal progression and learning how to deal with opponents rather than physical upgrades.
Yeah, like Metroid, I assume. Oh, sorry, go on, Steve.
I was going to say it's more of a kind of a link in terms of the feel rather than mechanical.
Yeah,
identicalness.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of summarizing it. Because I think we've already talked a bit about Bloodborne, because it was on Cat's top 10 as well, wasn't it? As well as
it's going to be on. It'll be on Jamie's as well.
Yeah.
I don't have too much more to bring to the table on it. I was just
that's cool, because we're going to talk a fair amount about the actual number 8, I think. Because me and Steve have talked. This is number 8 is probably the game me and Steve have talked about the most.
I guess
throughout just like seeing each other 2 or 3 times a year at conventions. Normally you ask, how are you getting on with this game? And that game is
oh right, okay.
A game that I've been telling Sean Sean will really love the backgrounds in this game, because Sean loves parallax backgrounds.
I do love parallax backgrounds.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I need the sequel right now.
And that's the what's it called, something song, where you play
Silk
as
Song.
Silk Song, that's it. That was going to be DLC, but now it's an entirely different game, isn't it?
It was going to be DLC, but they made so much DLC, they realized, we've got a game.
Yeah, they've made so much fucking free DLC for this game. It's insane. It's like 5 packs, is it now? Yeah,
they promised 5 DLCs as Kickstarter goals. They released all 4 of the ones they were going to do, and they chose to do as DLC. And then the latter one, which was a playable, what's her name? Hornet mission.
Right.
They just had so many ideas left still. They were like, screw it, we're making an entirely another game, and we'll give it to the backers for free, as if it was the DLC. Yeah. This game being here. Cosplay. Yeah. This game being here emphasizes a lot. Something that I feel a lot about games is that refinement over time is one of the best things about gaming as a medium. Like, because this is a game that came out in the last 2 years, that's building on games before it. But I genuinely think it's the pinnacle of the Metroidvania experience, as far as I'm concerned. The world is so rich and terrifying and intimidating, and you feel so lost and scared within it.
So,
but it's so organic. Sorry. I love it.
The main thing that I finally beaten Hollow Knight. I haven't beaten all the DLC because some of the DLC gets so ridiculously difficult.
I haven't bothered. I didn't bother with any of the DLC.
Yeah.
Did you beat the Radiance, like the proper?
Shit. Damn it! Damn it! Sorry, I forgot to make it loop. Sorry, loop.
I love it when James points out when I make tech errors every single time. I'm just not going to say anything though.
No. You think that would make me feel bad, but it doesn't. So
you should though.
The thing about
sorry. Did you beat the Radiance?
Yes, yeah. So the boss that's made me kind of not rage quit, but put it on pause for now is the first DLC boss where it's this dude that like summons fire pillars from below, and each hit he does takes 2 damage rather than 1, and it's insane. I
didn't bother with any of the DLC because a lot of it involves fetch quests, and I hate fetch quests, like going around collecting doodads. But I got like 40 odd hours out of the main quest and beating the true final, and that felt generous as heck for a game that cost me like £6.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's the best thing about Hollow Knight, I think, that makes it stand out from other roguelikes is in every other roguelike, including Metroid, you'll destroy some secret cave or something, and you're like, oh cool, what's in here? And you're like, yeah, I got a missile power up, now I can carry 5 more missiles than normal. In Hollow Knight, you blow up a wall and you find some fucking crazy ass bug who's talking crazy shit, and you've discovered an entire new quest. You've discovered this entire new little area that's just hidden behind some cave. And
the whole world, but you're right, the whole world is really bespoke. There's no like, generic corridor again.
Yeah, every sort of power-up you find ties into the universe. Like, with Metroid, you'll just find a health power-up, whatever, but in Hollow Knight, it kind of takes elements from a game in this category. Maybe I'm seeing now why you picked it. Bloodborne. Like in Bloodborne, any power-up you find, normally there's like a dead body next to it, and you just picked up their like knife or something. Hollow Knight does the same thing. Sort of every power-up you pick up, you either had to kill someone to get, or you found next to like someone's dead body, and every item has like a little entry in a journal as well. And this game does the Bloodborne Souls series thing where there's a lot of expansive world building, but it doesn't shove it in your face. You have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah. And another really cool thing about the power-ups is there's about 30 odd power-ups you can choose. You choose which ones you want attached at any moment in time. There's no kind of linear like, you've got, as you said, there's no like, I got 5 more missiles. There are loads of different ways to play the game using different loadouts of different abilities. And there are so many really varied charms.
Yeah, that's them there, isn't it? Charms. Let me just go back to that. I never even got these ones with the little flies.
Yeah, I never saw that.
I never saw that. These are all the charms you collect. I think when I beat the game, I had about half of them. And I feel like, I'm pretty sure I had the map fully explored as well. It is particularly difficult though. It has some bosses that you have to be quite patient on. I think
the charms being kind of things that change your ability set rather than your power means you have to be like on form with the fundamentals of this game all the time.
Yeah,
it's a lot faster and jumpier. A lot of Metroidvania games are quite a heavy character with a big gun. This is very nimble.
Yeah, I feel that the comparisons don't just stop with world building when it comes to Bloodborne. The combat feels quite Bloodborne-esque as well. You need to constantly be on the move and know where your enemy's going to be, and sometimes that does involve a lot of dying and coming back and trying again. The main complaint I had about this game was where's that map? How big the world is, which is, while it is a strong point, if you don't know where to go, and this game, to its credit, doesn't spell out where you need to go, it encourages you to find it yourself. But sometimes you just want to know, but how do I progress in the game? This world is fucking massive. And there were times where, as I said earlier, every power-up is tied to something in the universe. there were times where I'd break down a wall and I thought, yes, I'm finding progress, and then I find a really cool character and a really cool side quest and a really cool power. I'm like, yeah, that's a cool power, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be able to carry on with the main storyline. So
it can be a bit backtracky.
Yeah, but thing is, every time I did eventually find out what I was meant to do, the information was there, I just didn't notice it. There was always a little bit on the map, there was a little tiny corridor that I hadn't explored, that I hadn't noticed. So it was technically my own fault, but I can't be the only one that felt a bit lost in the world and not knowing where to proceed with next. Because I stopped playing this game about 4 times. Yeah. And now that I've gone back to it, I do love it.
Because I don't feel shame if I'm completely stumped. I did have like a handful of moments where I was like, well, I don't know what the hell to do now. I'm getting a little nudge from a guide. Thank you very much.
Yeah, at one point I had to as well, because at one point I was absolutely stumped, and then I beat a boss, I flipped a switch, and then that was it. It didn't tell you what the switch did. I'm just back in the fucking world. And yeah, I had to just Google what that fucking switch did. But yeah. The presentation of this game is beautiful as well. Like I'm not a big fan of the animations of the characters, but the backgrounds are just absolutely beautiful.
And when you stop and remember that, I think like 3 people in this game.
It's crazy, yeah.
It's astonishing.
A YouTuber,
like an artist, a programmer, a musician is pretty much it.
A YouTuber I follow who sort of dissects gaming music did a whole series about just Hollow Knight music, and realizing that the main motif of the main character is hidden in certain elements of the world that people theorize are connected to the main character. And he sort of dissected the music and confirmed, like, yes, they would only use this particular musical progression with this character if they were referencing the main character's theme. So he sort of managed to confirm fan theories just by tearing apart the music and the music theory behind it, which I thought was super fucking cool. There's a lot of thought that went into the music, which a lot of it is very ambient though. The music's not in your face at all, I found. Yeah, sorry. There's a lot to go on about with this game, I found. Also, yeah, bias, because I am wearing my Hollow Knight t-shirt, so whatever.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah. It's weird, I bought that t-shirt even like while I had given up on playing the game, so clearly something did stick with me.
It's a cool t-shirt though.
Yeah, I think it uses the Hollow Knight art style, which you can see just around the logo as well, like to your left, I guess.
I ain't got too much else to add.
The one last thing that stuck with me though is the voice acting is really fucking weird.
Oh yeah, it's literally like they went round to all of their mates, friends and family and were just like, do you want to make some weird noises to be a bug?
Yeah, so they don't speak English or voice act in English, they just make random like noises. And that noise I made just then is the sort of caliber that could be in the game. It's really weird. It becomes a bit charming, but it did pull me out of it. Whenever there was those noises, it never made me feel like it was a bug talking. I always thought it was a person doing an impression of a bug.
So they've got the music great, and then they've just fucked up the sound design like to a ridiculous level. Like,
yeah,
great.
The sound effects aren't bad. It's just the voice acting that's a bit weird.
Okay.
Yeah, but I super recommend this. Like, Sean, you'll just absolutely love the backgrounds in this game.
Yeah, so a little background on what I've experienced of Hollow Knight. It was when I was living in Brighton, we played it. I can't remember if it was on a laptop or on the console. But I played like garbage. It just didn't. I just hated it. So I didn't play anymore.
Oh, fair enough.
So there's my experience with Hollow Knight. So,
that's right. That's basically my experience of World of Warcraft. So
yeah.
Cool. Shall
I didn't hold the fuck up. I know you don't like that game, but I didn't mean it. I didn't say I didn't like Hollow Knight because it was a bad game. It just played like crap, as in like 2 FPS. And then
I thought you meant the controls. The controls played like crap.
Like it barely jumped. Like I don't know. Like I think the controller might have been broken. I don't know, but that's it. Yeah, WoW is crap. Like I don't know what happened. I played Rust and now I'm not excited for Classic WoW anymore. Like
really?
oh well,
Wow,
Rust,
that's massive.
Rust is objectively the best game in the world. So what's the point of playing WoW? So
Fucking hell.
I'll get bored of Rust eventually, but
And
until
then
then,
you'd be going to WoW Classic, I'm assuming.
probably. I mean,
Yeah.
I should, but I don't know. I'm very on the fence about it all now.
Okay. We'll have to catch up
Dunno.
about that one. Anyway, I've already. Well, I've accidentally spoiled what's number 7, but also it's a game that I think only you and I have ever played. Out of anyone
I
I've
can
ever
tell
met,
you
Steve,
that is
so-
correct.
Yeah. How about I bring up the runner-up? You've only got one runner-up for this one. Can I remember this? Oh yeah, it's a twist for runner-up for this one, I think, because it's the first time this game. It's the first time this game has made it onto a runner-up rather than a core top 10.
Hey.
Yeah,
It's the first time it's been a runner-up.
yeah. So we've talked Undertale to death. Is there
Yeah, I don't
anything
have
you
much.
want? Yeah,
I don't really have much to add. It's representing kind of quirky, cute, character-driven RPGs that are about feelings.
Yeah, and
Yep,
it's a really good one.
I feel like the most interesting stuff you're going to have to say about Undertale that hasn't already been said is going to be in relative to what your number 7 actually is. So shall I just skip straight to that?
Well, the only other aside is that Undertale gave me a nudge to like, hey, you should at least try making one big-ish RPG type game because other people have done it.
Yeah.
So it was an instrumental game in nudging me to make my own damn game. So
That's
thanks, Undertale.
Did you play Undertale before or after the actual number 7 in this list?
Before, very briefly, I played Undertale as blind can be, so it was very special for me. No
Okay.
hype.
Yeah, I think I was the same.
Literally, someone I follow on Twitter drew some cute fan art of the spider bake sale, and I was like, "This game looks cute. I'll play it." And that was it. I hate it.
Okay.
Meow.
I'll bring up I'll skip the next 7 and then go bam bam. Wait, it's not doing a thing. Why
What are
isn't
you
it doing
doing?
anything?
This cat's getting tangled.
Damn it! There it is. Yeah. So it's not really. There we go.
Oh,
You're slightly
catch
annoyed, but let me just move you to the left a little bit there.
you good? Sorry, I'm just distracted. The cat is here.
Could have just
That's
moved the logo right.
Oh yeah, that's way easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. So Mother 3, the game that Lucas stars in from Smash Brothers. Well, people
Mother 3,
mostly
the game that Toby Fox is on record as saying, like, "Oh, I just basically made a Mother 3 fan game." Like,
Oh, that background for the battle scene though. Mm.
Oh yeah, it's like that in Earthbound as well.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna preface with something. Mother 3 is the sequel to Mother 2, aka Earthbound, which is a game I haven't played since I was like in my early-ish teens.
Oh really?
So I don't remember Earthbound all that well. And what I do, and I think at the time, as a teenager, I don't think I quite absorbed all of the big themes of it. I was just like, this game's weird. It has quirky things with weird faces and silly humor.
Hmm.
So I remember liking Earthbound quite a lot, but I really want to replay it and see how I feel about it as an adult.
I played
But because-
Earthbound. Sorry.
Oh, so go on.
I played Earthbound, I think, when I was in my 20s, and not too much of it stuck out. It was very charming all the way through, but the final boss will always be the main thing that sticks out with Earthbound. It probably would have scared me or had more of an impact when I was younger. Like when you were playing it in your early teens, but without spoiling too much, what was your interaction with the sort of final boss and the contrast?
Just kind of, haha, that's messed up. When you're a teenager, if stuff is messed up, you think it's cool.
Yeah.
There's not much deeper thought into it.
Yeah, and there wasn't really too much outside of it. Like, there's lots of references to not social media, just to media in general. Like, there's the Blues Brothers references that is included in the opening of Super Smash Bros. Melee as well. where they just basically have the characters from the Blues Brothers when Ness appears from a teleporter. And they basically have a whole fucking Ku Klux Klan like cult, don't they? With the Happy Clan. They're all dressed in blue and have their fucking hoods up. It's crazy. But Mother 3, on the other hand, what's the story of Mother 3?
I've got to play Mother 3 for a long time. I only played it 2 years ago, and it was because literally some of the music from the game came on my YouTube while it was shuffling. I was like, oh, this is really nice music. Maybe I should play that Mother 3 because people like that. So I was not prepared for how much Mother 3 was going to affect me. Yeah. And I'm glad I played it as an adult, I think, because it just really got to me on a lot of levels.
Yeah, I played it when I think I was about 21. I think I remember playing it while I was at university with the whole like the fan translation and everything. And I hadn't played Earthbound at that point. Mother 3 was my first one in the series. I basically was playing it because Lucas was my main in Brawl. And yeah, it's... I don't remember as much of it compared to Earthbound. But there are some scenes that do stick with me. Like and some of them are very silly scenes as well. But bizarrely, it frames in quite a... character defining ways, like the what's it called, the snake who's like the grab rope. There's a moment,
the rope snake.
The rope snake. There's one moment where the rope snake is like clinging to someone, and then there's a really bizarrely like deep moment out of a scene that should realistically have just been comedy.
Yeah, the rope snake is basically just a tool. He is the grappling hook you fire at one point, and then you can jump across gaps using him as a grapple.
And then,
but like at one point later in the game, during a plot moment, he lets you down. He tries to hang on so everyone doesn't fall, and he fails you.
Yeah, and then just like
but then there's an arc like later on in the game. The rope snake comes back and he's like, "I got you this time. I'm stronger now."
and
he's literally your grappling hook item.
That's the charm of a game, is it? Like your inventory has character progression. And I think one of the things I really liked about this game compared to Earthbound was that you do kind of jump across the world a bit more. And Earthbound is one moment where suddenly you're playing as someone else. But in this game, I think you're about 7 hours in, and then suddenly you're playing as a monkey in the desert. And it just kind of, I feel if the world feels a bit larger for that and a bit more connected. Also, you have a cute dog in your party throughout the game, and I like that one. It's called Boney, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just have a dog.
Jesus Christ, this cat is lounged down and she's trying to push the iPad off of the desk. Hang on.
I'm pitch black and covered in soot, but I'm alive. Oh, you're pitch black too,
Mr.
Flint. Thank you, Mr. Pitch Black Flint.
Look at this.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pitch Black Flint.
Yeah, that's where my iPad goes.
But so Mother 3 has a really weird combat mechanic where it's technically a rhythm game, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I couldn't get on with it.
I was just trying to work out what was going on.
It's turn-based combat, but if you hit the attack button in time with the music, you just keep attacking and attacking.
Ah, that's what's going on. I can't hear any music because I had to mute it because it was too loud. So,
speaking of more kind of every element of the game being bespoke and handcrafted, all of the save points, but they're never just a frog. Like that frog's a frog in a barrel because
the frogs,
and there's a little frog driving around in a car because it's not afterward.
Oh, the frog in a car is so cute as well.
There's a frog that's inside a snake. You just kind of see a bulge. There's a big python, and the frog's like, "I'm not actually dead, so do you want me to save your game?"
It's very similar. It was pretty much directly, it had to have been Toby's inspiration for having all the mouse holes next to all the save bits in Undertale. It's a very similar thing with every save being slightly different. So the reason why I had Undertale over Mother 3 is, I guess I just feel like the Mother 3 and Earthbound have quite straightforward, simple plots, but with interesting sort of character moments in between all of that. Whereas I found Undertale, like, the plot is the interesting character moments.
oh, here's just what's happening on screen is one of my favorite bespoke moments in the game. Like, you're covered in soot, and you think, oh, I'll go to the hot spring, that will soot. But
I forgot about that.
so, like,
It's
they
like-
animated walk cycles for separate sprites just for this one gag at one point in the game.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
It's like
There's
the
so
telescope
much-
in Undertale where you get a pink eye.
yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so much of that in this game.
That's
Um,
pretty funny.
Oh, I forgot it follows you across different bits as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, the tone of this game is so dorky and so lovely, and
Yeah.
that's so important because the stories and theme are incredibly sad, like shockingly sad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it really strikes a perfect balance between balancing out what is a very sad game with so much character around it that it keeps you going through the whole thing.
Yeah, that is a contrast that Earthbound misses, I feel. Despite how the final boss kind of stands out as a contrast change, like Mother 3 kind of deals with happy and sad tones throughout the entire game, doesn't it?
Yeah, Mother 3 is a game about loss.
Yeah,
and
realistically.
I think it hits me as a guy in his 30s because I'm kind of at a semi-settled point in my life, and to see someone make a game about, without going into too much spoilers, actually, it's a Chinny's bulk is moving my. It's
That makes sense.
it's a game about people normal lives being caught up in something much bigger than them and
Hmm.
just being completely blown out of the water and changed impossibly and doing their best to react to that, but feeling so small at the same time. And it hit me in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Same with the change that happens in the world, because like there's like a big time skip in the game, and
Yes, yeah.
the world changes in ways that can't be undone. Like Tasmania Village starts off as kind of a socialist utopia where no one locks their doors and no one has currency, and
I forgot
Like-
there was no currency, yeah.
consumerism comes in and changes the town and changes everyone around you, and everything
Yeah.
feels very unfightable. That kind of change, you're not going to stand up to that. You're just doing your best in the face of it. And same with the fire, which starts the game and throws everyone's lives into chaos.
And there's elements like this bit that turn up every now and then where it kind of dips its toes into sort of more generic RPG territory, because it does have, there's like but sometimes it still has a twist on them a little bit. Like it still has the stereotypical kind of old school Final Fantasy plot element of, I think there's like 7 like wise sages, but if anyone watching this has ever seen One Piece, the sages are basically Okamas, aren't they? They're basically Bon Clays.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't. Is just drag queen the closest thing to a westernization of Okama?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and well, they're basically all dudes with like beards, dressed in like really attractive women's clothing, and you can't quite figure out what they would like to identify as. But for some reason they are like the sacred wise sages in this world that you have to travel the world and find and figure out what the fuck's going on in this world. It was just really goofy like takes on these sort of RPG cliches. And the soundtrack's weird as fuck. Like one of the first enemies you fight is a bat, and like a Batman theme song basically starts playing, doesn't it? And yeah,
Lovely.
they just have no shame about these references, and that might be why it never got a Western release, because they couldn't be bothered to
Oh, I
figure
know.
out how to do it.
I know why it never got a wrestling release, and that's because of, spoilers, the island arc, where
Yeah, I don't know.
Ness eats some random purple mushrooms and goes on a drug trip for an entire chapter.
Nah, that'll do it.
But that basically, wait, Lucas had that.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember that now, because Ness had something very similar in Earthbound, where they were in, is it Foreside? And suddenly they go into like the area where it's like black with neon lights.
I think that's just a bizarro hidden world, but
Fuck,
the
maybe-
island is literally an 11-year-old having a drug trip.
Fuck, I
And
need
then,
to
like,
replay it. I don't remember that at all.
A spectre of his dad shows up and threatens to beat him, and
Yeah,
Fucking
no,
hell.
that's not going to get released.
he keeps finding mailboxes on the island, and them is filled with 1,000 dead rats.
Fucking
It-
hell. I don't remember
It
that
gets
at all.
really weird.
Yeah.
So I kind of see it because this game would have to get an M rating.
That'd be cool though. People would actually think, "Oh, hang on, what? Why has it got an M rating?" They'd be playing through it the whole time, and then you go, "Ah, I see now."
Suddenly it's out of nowhere. Fucking Doki Doki at the last second.
Hmm. I don't know about the last second, dude. It's like every bloody arc, every
yeah.
act of that shitty game.
Right, any closing remarks on Mother 3? I'm trying to think of, because I don't remember too much of it.
Don't think too hard because we are an hour and a half in and we're only on number 7.
The ending ruined me like no game has ever ruined me.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I got so emotional.
oh man.
bless.
Like you can see everything that's going to happen in this game is going to be bad, but you don't know how bad.
Yeah.
And then the final boss happens, and it's incredibly emotional. And then the game ends, and you're like, I was ready for that. That was a good ending, very good. And then like halfway through the credits, it's like, oh no, we're going to do something else now. It's going to catch you off guard. I won't spoil it, but it's clever and very emotional and affecting.
Yeah, for all that people want a Mother 4 or whatever, Mother 3 did close in a way that felt very suitable for a series to close on, I think.
Mother is Shigesato Toy's series. It's games he wants to make at that stage in his... You know, from what I gather, the first Mother game feels like a guy who's pushing 30, wanting to make a game about going out into the world to encourage people in Japan in the 80s who were still quite closed to go see more. 2 is a game about, I'm in my 40s, people don't connect anymore, people should go make more friends. And 3 is a game by a man in his 50s saying, sometimes you don't have control, you need to treasure what you've already got.
Oh,
So
wow.
I feel like they kind of work as being games made by him at those particular moments in his life. So yeah, Mother is his. It's not something someone else can make, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. I really need to go back and replay them with that sort of perspective in mind, because it's so easy to just read them or play them and treat them like a goofy kids RPG. But then when you look at it like that, it becomes an entirely different experience, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, we should probably move on because we might be going to Spoiler Town very soon.
Cool. I'll skip ahead straight to number 6 then. Can you pause this and then?
How are we doing for time?
Yeah, it's not too
9:30.
bad. We're okay.
Cool.
So, what have we got in a runner-up here? We have. Should I just chuck this runner-up straight up?
Yeah, I can't remember what one's next. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, bang.
okay.
Yeah, now we're on a different kind of multiplayer. Just in general, Mario Kart 8 is bloody fantastic.
It really is.
It goes back to what I said about games becoming more refined over time. This is Nintendo just knowing what to do now, like how to do Mario Kart. I don't have much more to add beyond that. It's perfect. It's
Yeah, everyone knows what Mario Kart is, and this is probably the best iteration of it. And there's very little room to improve it. Oh, at least that's what I thought when I played it. It's like, where does this go from here? And then they released the deluxe version for the Switch. I went, oh, okay, that is it.
It's
No, we're not doing any
more of it.
Yeah.
But the only other game you could really play other than this at this point is just Double Dash because of the sort of double rider mechanic.
Yeah, there's an extra mechanic there, or just play Crash Team Racing because that's a whole different ball game. If you're into this.
I guess so.
But a big part of the option for number 6 is games. I don't play games online very much. It's not really my thing. But Mario Kart 8, I put so much time in on Wii U playing it online. I was really high up the ranking. To the extent that when I got it on Switch, I couldn't play it online anymore. Get back up to a difficulty level that didn't feel easy.
Yeah, because every game I've ever purchased, including like Smash Brothers and stuff, like I play single player and I feel like I'm pretty good at it. When I go online and everyone just absolutely murks me, I just lose to everyone. Best I can usually hope for is like sort of 2nd or 3rd place. But for some reason, Mario Kart 8, I kept winning, and I don't know why. But like, it sounds like we had quite similar experiences with Mario Kart 8, where it's just sort of, oh, I'm good at this. I'm going to play it some more until I stop being good at it.
Yeah, in terms of hours, it might still pip the actual number 6 in terms of time playing it online, but yeah, not much else to add. Mario Kart 8 is perfect. I don't know what they could do next.
Bizarrely, I think that's the first Mario Kart we've had on these lists for such a well-established franchise, and I think Mario Kart is. I'm pretty sure it's maybe either that or Breath of the Wild is the best-selling game on the Switch. And I had no idea Mario Kart 8, considering it was a fucking remake, was potentially the best-selling game on Switch. It's crazy.
Other quick thing to interject. Breath of the Wild is once again back on the top-selling Switch games of, I think it was last month, it was back on the list again.
Well, just
So
because they
it's
announced a
still
sequel. Fucking hell, that's crazy.
It must have been. I don't know. Also, Mario Kart 8 is obviously going to be like the best-selling one because it was the console bundle on launch, wasn't it? So everyone has it. So
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
it was one of the original games that came out.
All right,
There was nothing else to buy, but still, it's
I bought it.
not saying it's bad at all. But
No.
I bought it again, despite having it on Wii U.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. People, that's it. It's like, oh, I love that game. I'm getting it again because it's
Yeah.
good, but with
I-
more stuff now.
Playing it,
Just, yay.
play it at a convention. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't played it. I haven't bought it again. But if I'm at a convention and I see loads of people have it, then I was like, fuck it, I'll just buy it on the spot and download it so I can play with people because it is the quintessential multiplayer game. Realistically, that's stood the ages, isn't it? People loved it on the
That's
N64.
overcooked, mate.
Really, people love. No, I'm sorry. I thought you meant that's overkill. No, overcooked.
No, you carry on.
Well, okay? Quick question. What will make you lose friends faster? Mario Kart, Mario Party, or Overcooked?
Mario Party. by
Mario
far.
Party is number one. Yeah, I can.
Mhm.
I've never even played Mario Party. It just looks
You've never
bad.
played Mario Party?
It's just because it's
Oh,
not fun.
I love Mario Party, dude. I
Yeah,
really
I do. I love
surprised.
it. I love it to death, but it's just
Yeah.
not a fun game. The mini games are great, but the rest of the game content, no. Board games exist. I don't care.
Right. Let's crack on to the actual number 6. Any closing remarks before we do it?
No.
No. Cool.
Steve likes to zoom. Next.
Steve likes to zoom.
Oh, come on. That's not zooming.
Sean did not get on with this game. I did.
Oh, really?
Sean didn't.
No, not for me.
Yeah, same criteria. I put so much time into Splat Online. I love it. It just feels so good. It's just one of those games that I don't know why, but it's just I can just pick it up and like if you ask me to tell you what the control scheme for Splatoon is, I don't know.
You
my
just
hands-
breathe it. It's like
My
asking-
hands know.
It's like describing how to breathe, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I love the characters. I love the world of Splatoon. I love the music's like really characteristic, but I love that the world focuses on its music so much. If that makes sense, I love that everyone's trying to have their own sort. I love all the like invented fashion clothes. I love how much this game tries to invents a new style of cool and then bees that. If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's why the music works so well, because it's all
Yeah.
kind of everyone's dressed very industrially. It's all very. If music took over the world and it was the coolest thing in the world, that's what people
Yeah.
would probably start looking like.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the,
Yeah.
they've all got headphones on. They're all wearing hats and shit. It works, and they've all got like rave gear on, like lights and like all that kind of shit, and it works really well. And it's super immersive for that, I think. Except the
Yeah.
music itself is crap because it's just little squid noises.
Oh, it's great. I love it. You guys,
But it needs that to add the charm to it. Otherwise, it would just be so cold and like,
Yeah.
oh, this is really edgy. It's like this is basically cyberpunk at this point. So they needed that music in there for it to sort of balance out.
And that's where. Sorry, go ahead.
you guys are saying everything I was going to say, but way better. So yeah,
Oh.
good job.
Okay.
I love Splatoon for all those same reasons.
I'm pretty sure I've said this on stream before, and I love Splatoon. I love the multiplayer for it, but and this includes Dota. This includes Team Fortress 2. Splatoon gets me the most saltiest in any game I have ever played, and I can't
maybe
play it
so.
anymore. It
Did you
gets
ever
me.
pick up to?
I bought it, but I played about 10 games online, and when I went on a losing streak, about 4 games, like, nope, I'm dropping it. And I don't know what it is about Splatoon that just frustrates me. Maybe it's because you can't talk to teammates, but
Oh, so that's kind of why I love it. I like games that have kind of a vocabulary of
that's,
gameplay that doesn't require as much explicit communication.
which
Because I
is,
just don't like people online.
I should agree, because the only way I can feel less salty when I used to play Dota was to just mute my teammates and play it as if I was playing against bots. That's the only way I could get on with life.
But that's because your teammates will be the problem in Dota generally.
Yeah, well, even if you're the problem in Dota, teammates
will
make you
know.
feel. Yeah, teammates will make you feel shit about it, so they increase the problem. And Splatoon, even though people can't communicate with you, it feels like that somehow exists. Maybe it's part of my personality, and I'm watching my teammates and I think they're playing passive aggressively or something. But just even the element
That's
of
some
like,
next level shit, my dudes.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
even there's parts of playing Splatoon online that makes me feel like a parent tidying up after their children. Like, because in the main Splatoon mode I played, it's is it called Territory Wars? I can't remember. Turf Wars, that's it, isn't it? And it's a really
I love that
creative
they call
game.
it turf.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many fucking puns in Splatoon that I love to death as well. But the way Turf Wars works, and it's so fucking clever to get people who aren't good at shooting games to play, is you win by how much territory you've covered in ink you're shooting. So even if you're not good at killing people, you can just avoid the fights and cover territory when the opponent's not looking if you want. But what always gets me is teammates never cover the territory around where you spawn. They always run into the fight. So I'm always there in like the last minute of the game, sort of covering this fucking territory that our teammates left. And
Bless you, sir.
yeah, while our teammate is one teammate down, so everyone's dying. So everyone's mad at. So I think everyone's mad at me for not being involved in these last fights, when I'm here fucking colouring in all this ground that the teammates didn't bother to colour in the first place. And it just goes from there.
Oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. But
Just imagine you getting really frustrated with it. You're just sitting there fucking painting the floor like, I hate this game so much. It's like pink paint everywhere.
And there's so many good mechanics in this game as well that piss me off. It's just but you can. This was the one thing
Why
that
the
worked
fuck
better
do you
on.
play this?
But this is the one thing that definitely worked better on Wii U rather than Switch. And that's on Wii U. You had the map on your controller while you played, and you could just touch the screen on a teammate and you jump to them. Whereas on the
That was
Switch,
pretty cool.
the ability to do that is still there, but you have to like hold a button to bring up a map and use a control stick to select the character, so it's not as intuitive. But regardless, you can see a little icon around you when a teammate is jumping towards you. And if you're surrounded by 4 of the enemy, then you're fucking telling your teammate, who's probably some fucking 8-year-old in America, you fucking idiot, why are you jumping to me? You're just gonna land and die, and there are gonna be 2 teammates down. You should be covering this territory over there. That's not where 4 of the enemies are, you fucking idiot. And then you look at the map and see what your other 2 people are doing, and the other one's just jumped to where you died, and the other one's AFK at spawn, and it's just fucking bringing back memories.
I'm starting to realise why this game doesn't have voice chat.
Yeah.
It's James.
Yeah,
But then
it's 'cause
it
of
does
me.
it does beg the question, why can I not play with my friends and not have to subject everyone else online to my toxic attitude? Why can't I just isolate my friends to that shitty attitude?
Yeah, that was the main thing that I think put Sean off playing, was that we discovered you can't just create a party of 4 and play randomers online.
That was the moment where I instantly started to hate Nintendo.
That's a
Yeah,
very
that's
Nintendo thing.
I just started that just turned my stomach, especially now that they make you pay for that privilege of not being able to play with your friends. Fuck off, Nintendo. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nintendo can be very Nintendo.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to clarify though, I don't think Splatoon 2 is a bad game. I actually thought the gameplay was pretty good. It was just the hurdles I had to jump over to enjoy it. And I was like, okay, nah, it's not quite there for me. Splatoon 1 might have been better, especially with like the extra information I can get from the little screen and everything else. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't get on with it too well.
I've noticed that Nintendo keeps doing this to us as well. We were going to say, yeah, let's play Splatoon. We'll form a party of 2 and go online and have fun. Oh, you can't do
We
that.
have loads of fun. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mario
Let's do Smash.
Oh no, you can't play with your friends because the leaderboards and everything.
Smash did it as well, though. It's like you can't play as a party of 2, a team of 2 online. You have to do it locally and then find online people from there. And
because leaderboards.
Effectively Mario Maker did the same thing. We keep trusting Nintendo to do good 2-player co-op online, and they just never deliver. But something I did want to bring up, Steve, is that you picked the Octo expansion trailer. Have you played the Octo expansion?
Yeah, I was going to make a specific point to bring that up.
Yeah, go on.
One thing, in addition to being an online game, Splatoon has always had fairly solid single-player campaigns as well.
Hmm.
And I say fairly solid; they were kind of like a kind of budget Ratchet and Clank, with a hint of Mario Galaxy about them. Like they were good. They were solid. But the single-player Splatoon 1 and Splatoon 2 were still kind of obstacle, like, if that makes sense. They were good, but they were just fun obstacle courses. You play for it once and you're done.
Yeah.
The plot is a bit thin.
They're very much so
However,
a corridor game, aren't they?
Octo Expansion is the moment where the Splatoon single player got really good, like up on kind of this is like on proper Nintendo level.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
big like it has some missions that are like in big free roaming worlds with the ink pack and like much more story stuff going on and a whole lot of challenge. Some of it's really hard, and yeah. So I wanted to shout out Octo Expansion because it really kind of elevated what was a mostly good single player component to being this is actually really essential in my opinion.
So the story of Splatoon is you play as the Inklings, but the Octo Expansion you play as the Octolings for the first time, who have always been the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I always thought the Octolings were cooler, probably because I think 8 is a cooler number than 6. But
and squids are disgusting, so yeah.
Yeah. And I really should get around to playing the Octo Expansion because I didn't get along too well with the single player just because there's not too much narrative and the worlds are very much so an obstacle course, as you said. There's not. It's like Mario Galaxy, but without the charm of every planet you discover, you know?
And those pristine Mario platforming controls that we all love.
Yeah.
Hasn't been a bad Mario game before. Fight me.
Hotel Mario? Nah. But
Nah, you shut your mouth. Some good ass shit.
No, and it just looks like Splatoon 2, so Octo Expansion delivers more on the Splatoon style, which I just absolutely love.
Octo Expansion has some utterly insane stuff in it where there is like, screw it. The final boss, I can't tell you what the final boss is, but it is absurd.
Even just all the creatures on the subway there, they're all based on deep sea creatures, aren't they? Which is so fucking clever. Because it's the underground train network in a town inspired by...
Yeah, you got a blobfish sitting in the chair.
Exactly, yeah. So they're so fucking clever with all of their... Yeah, just all the character designs. And just stupid fucking puns as well. What's the main hangout, I think, is in Splatoon 1, is it? It's like Boyard Base or something, and it's a parody of that famous crossing in Japan, isn't it? I can't remember what the crossing... Do you know what I mean? It's like in Tokyo. Oh, Shibuya, that's it. Yeah,
how can you fit the word squid
Base, I think.
But
they found a way. And even just Callie and Marie, and for the shrimp... Crusty, yeah,
like,
Crusty Sean, that's it, yeah.
People say stuff like for eel and
yeah,
every pun possible.
They put so much thought into the stupidest things of Splatoon, and it was a big risk for Nintendo to go for a new IP, but they put a lot of fucking effort into it. Yeah. Anything else on Splatoon before we move on to number 5?
Inkling's the best Smash character.
Really?
Basically, she's the most fun to watch do stuff.
Yeah,
like all the moves, everything. It's all fluid, lovely. The sound effects are great. Best character, fantastic. Unless you're playing on that fucking level that spins around on that custom level we had to play, and like, oh, get some paint. It's like shove you off the end. Like, no, put me back.
The dinosaur minigame in Chrome stage.
I don't remember what that level was, but it was funny.
It was the dinosaur no internet minigame, wasn't it?
Oh, of course it was, yeah. The Chrome. That was funny.
Cool, let's move on to number 5. What have we got? Position 5.
Oh, we're more than halfway through in time, but just about getting halfway through here. Oh, shit, boys. We got to make up about 14 minutes somewhere.
Cool. So straight up, I have not played this game ever.
don't
I've seen a
know what that
cosplay of
is.
it, but I've never played it. What the fuck is
I have
Guitar
no.
Man?
Please tell me what this is. I don't know.
This section is called weird Japanese rhythm games that aren't about music, so to speak. So so yeah, they're a lot. I love rhythm games, but I really love kind of just colorful, bizarre rhythm games where, like, it's not like, oh, it's the game where you're in a band, go be in the band, play the song. Like Guitar Man is a game about being a guitar-themed superhero, and you go to different planets and play guitar at evil bees or giant space sharks or armies of skeletons, and defeat them with guitar. And
Fucking sick.
It's mad. And so it's mad.
That sounds dope as hell. What the hell?
It's wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm already googling it.
And the other game,
I don't have much more to add than that. The other one is in a similar vein.
they don't have a logo, so I had to put one together.
This is Os Tatake Oendan, which is the game that was.
I like the characters.
Yeah.
This is the game that was reskinned entirely, visually and sound-wise, to make Elite Beat Agent in the West.
Which me and Charlotte have cosplayed as well.
Mm-hmm.
No shame.
Yeah, I picked up Oendan when I went to Japan in 2006. Just like, are there any weird games I should pick up that you can only get here? And someone just that one online, and yeah, that was kind of the catalyst in like, oh, it's a game where you are a very serious-faced cheer squad of burly men.
Yeah.
And each level is people having problems with stuff, like there's an office lady who's got too much paperwork. Stuff like that, and these guys just pop up in their office and just do like dramatic cheering to get people through whatever they're doing.
Have you never played this, Sean?
I've never played either of them. I'm very familiar with the second one. I had no idea what Guitar Man is though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I love Elite Beat Agents. I haven't played any of the Oendan games, but I really should, just because you don't even need to know the music or even the fucking translation. You just need to know the comic strips, really, that play in the background.
The first Oendan is wonderful. I love the soundtrack. I love the ridiculous mission. I never quite got on the second one. I decided to place all of the kind of fiery cheer squad music with kind of ballads, and it didn't work.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't sound the same. Like, Elite
But
Beat
I do
Agents...
I do like that the second game is called Moeru Neketsu Rhythm Damashi of Tatake Oendan 2.
Fucking
it's
hell.
fun to say.
I just know that the series is so good that it can make you like Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. That's how fucking good it is. It can make you sing along to Avril Lavigne.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the track
That's
list
how
now.
good.
Got bloody Walkie Talkie Man by Stereogram. That's so
fucking
old.
that's such a bad
Sum
song. But I love it
41.
to death. Yeah.
Oh, I do love it.
There's
There's
fucking good Charlotte in there, isn't there?
Jamiroquai.
Anthem.
See, Bowie.
I never-
Why have they got Bowie in here?
never
Hoobastank.
actually-
Holy shit.
That Hoobastank
actually
song
played-
is dope.
Oh, good Charlotte. Yeah, the anthem. Yeah.
What are you gonna say, Steve? Sorry.
Share.
I never
Destiny's
actually played Elite Beat
Child.
Agents.
Didn't you? Oh, it's got a terrible soundtrack, but I love it to bits anyway. It's so good.
I will say the
Yeah.
final boss of the original Oendan is all of the characters you've helped in the game coming together to stop a meteorite to Ready Steady Go from Alchemist.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The final song in Elite Beat Agents is the Rolling Stones song, but I will say, hand on my heart, that I prefer the Hoobastank song before it, and I know how much of a sin that is. But I think
It's Hoobastank though.
yeah, but, no one can list more than 2 Hoobastank songs unless they played Elite Beat Agents. But the beginning of a drum beat and just the actual storyline that plays into just before it starts playing as well. Oh, I know, was it the other way around? Maybe Hoobastank is the last one. And fuck, maybe I've been confused now. Well, I guess I'll just have to replay it. Such a shame. But yeah, I should play Oendan because it's just more of what I love. I can't remember. There is a documentary about the series on YouTube that interviews like the director of it as well. It's very good. It's about 50 minutes long. I should have to link that up. But these
are just the runners up though, right?
Yeah,
Let's get on to
There's more to come.
the winner.
The winner. So we're doing the number one now. Oh. Okay.
It's Rhythm Heaven Fever, which in the UK, I think, just beat the beat rhythm paradise because they can never decide what to localize it as across
something
the
like
American and European regions. I freaking love this series. It's just a series.
If WarioWare was a rhythm game,
It's the WarioWare team making a rhythm game. It's tons and tons of quick fire little games, which, as I said, are not you playing a guitar. It's all kind of bizarre stuff like golfing monkeys, seesawing, whatever these guys are, kicking footballs away from ruining your date whilst otters watch? I don't know.
little groundhogs. I think they're in a hole,
Yeah.
aren't they?
Yeah,
Having a great time.
I adore the series. I love every game in the series, but I've highlighted Rhythm Heaven Fever, which is the Wii installment, because I think it, just in general, it had the best selection of games and the best soundtrack.
I like how characteristic the soundtrack is to it. Like, it doesn't take from popular music at all. It just makes its own sort of theme of music and
I
runs
love
with
that
it.
scene there where they're playing golf. They've got like a
Yes.
baboon.
Yeah, all the
Little
animations
guy
are so
throwing balls.
smooth as well.
Yeah,
Oh my god, Project Rub. That was an old one, wasn't it? On DS. Jeez. Forgot about that game.
but yeah, I don't
Look at this though. Like, flicking it all. Bam.
I don't have much to say about the series. It's just look at all delightful games. They all sound so
Yeah.
good. Like the beauty of this series is you can, once you've played them a few times, you can play most of the mini games with your eyes closed.
You'd also
Because
be good at WarioWare.
The audio cues are so well designed. Heck, I
And it's
like
all-
know a lot of them just by heart because they're such earworms.
And this is all on the Wii, so is it all waggle controls?
No, it's buttons. Thankfully,
I suppose it's just
Yeah.
button, is it?
You'd want
Does any
buttons.
minigame have more than one button?
the Wii one is A button, B button, or both at the same time. So it's 3 different inputs depending on what you're doing in the game.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, it really ought to, Maz. Even the characters' designs are the same. Like the way their eyes look and everything, right?
Yeah,
Like the way the hair's outlined and all that sort of stuff.
as a
All
general
the
overview of the
outlines.
series, as a general overview of the series, the Wii one is fantastic. The original Game Boy Advance one is fantastic. The DS one is a bit ropey because it's touchscreen and feels imprecise. If you want bang for your buck, they did a year or two ago release Rhythm Heaven Gold on the 3DS, which has like all the games from all 3 installments,
Oh, fuck.
which technically should be the best value for money. However,
He's just
this
laughing at
game
Monkey.
is adorable. This game is adorable. Look at his faces.
They'll bring up the audio.
So you can, and then you do the same thing, and he's happy.
Ah,
The problem with the 3DS compilation is they shoehorned in a really slow, boring story mode wrapped around all these
Oh, really?
mini games, and it is a pace killer. Like the
Oh.
beauty of the series is you're just like minigame done, and you just go through all these so many weird experiences one after the other, and having a weird story about trying to get a weird monkey fella back to heaven.
Aw.
They need this on
It
Switch.
didn't work.
They need something like this
Yeah.
on Switch. To
I'd
play
happily
this in
play
a
this on
large
Switch.
group would be
You
hilarious,
could do it
especially
more-
after doing the what were we playing? Mario Party, all the rhythm stuff in that, right? That worked
Yeah.
pretty well. If they had more of that as a whole game, perfect.
and with the
Get on it,
detachable-
Steve. Go make it.
with the detachable Joy-Cons as well. Good 2-player co-op
Exactly.
and stuff so easily.
You get like a whole room on it. It could be great. Unless
Yeah.
you buy the new Switch, in which you can't do that. Sucks to be you.
Yeah, this series was actually a mild influence on Reigns and players. That I wanted everything to be kind of rhythmic, even if the rhythm games can
Okay.
kind of clue into the rhythm as they're playing, even if it's not
Did they just dab?
exactly a rhythm game.
Yes, they did.
Okay. Just wanted to be sure about that. Oh, fuck.
It was like a good Friday night, to be honest.
I think it's
Are you
predates
quite
Rabbit.
super?
dab, spin.
Are you quite super into rhythm games then? Because Mother 3's a bit of a rhythm game as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I got really shit hot at the bowels because
Just you kept doing full
Rhythm.
combos.
You played Beat Saber yet, Steve?
I really want to. I don't
Mate,
have VR.
yeah, you need to get on that like ASAP.
I need to
Yeah.
do that as well.
Yeah, you both need to play Beat Saber. That was Kat's #1 as well. She just loves rhythm action.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I want
crazy.
that.
Beat
that's
Saber
number
is not going to be beaten by anything. It's the best rhythm action game in the world. And I'm like, yep, it is.
Yeah.
It just is.
Next time I'm anywhere southern with a VR, I need to be up with Beat
Yeah,
Saber.
there's a bunch of us with VRs. Like, Nurt's got one, I've got one. Yeah, we could. We probably. I know I'm gonna have to make James play it at some point, so we'll probably drag you along to do that as well. But
Yeah.
James can't wait. Listen to that. Look at how excited he is.
I did throw in a bonus video for this of just my favorite mini game in the series.
Let me just make sure that's fair. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
The monkey just high-fiving all the other monkeys.
That's so
Brilliant.
cute. I think I need that game on Switch. Let me turn this up a bit.
Oh yes.
It's going to suddenly shoot up loud, isn't it?
Oh, I've seen pictures of this around. Oh god.
It's,
I think I played. Was this on the Wii version? Was
The
this...
Rhythm Arena.
Yeah.
This rings a bell.
Timeless New Roman.
Well, it's a wrestler, so I'm in.
so you're doing the nods. and the poses.
What the fuck?
You have a button to nod, a button to pose, and a button to flex. The flex is like a button press. It's
I love that her gibberish is in rhythm as well. It's so.
yeah. Yeah. This is why you switch it back to the Japanese language options. She sounds a bit weird in the English.
Oh, is she actually? Does that actually make sense in Japanese? I thought it was just gibberish.
It's gibberish that sounds coherent.
Oh, okay.
Nintendo Times.
Oh, that was definitely Japanese, yeah.
Yeah. I love this series.
Yeah,
it's
Disco.
gibberish. Yeah. It's gibberish Deska.
Oh yeah. Sean, when I eventually become ripped as fuck, can you cosplay as the interviewer?
You're not
and I'll
far
do the
away,
wrestler?
mate.
I just need to get about 3 foot taller than you, and then you can be the interviewer and I'll be the wrestler.
Yeah, you just gotta get super wham and tall. We'll grease you up good and get
yeah.
photographers.
Yeah, that was an easy one to blast through. Not much to say. It's just look at these delightful mini games.
It really does explain itself. Like you can just watch it and feel like you're playing it yourself, can't you?
Yeah, I was clapping along under the desk and no one saw though.
Yeah, I've got her talking. stuck in
Private
my
little
head.
clap along.
Did you get a guest car? Right, should we move on to numero quattro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet. Pacey.
What have we got here? Oh, this is the big one, isn't it?
It's a big one, maybe. I don't know.
Let's
Because we're 2 hours in now.
wait, have
so
I
it's
got the
going
right
well.
footage?
We're coming up on another one of my pet series, so I might ruin all of our paciness by yammering again soon.
Yeah. Sean, can you look away
Yeah,
for
this
a
is
sec?
like
I
a
need to
1
make sure I've
a.m.
got the right
finish.
one.
This one.
So I think I've got a different video for this one.
Oh,
What's
check
the-
your things. Let me know when to
Sean's not looking.
look.
Is
No, no.
this the right runner-up for number 4, or have I messed it up?
Yeah, this is the runner-up.
This is the right one. So number. I just need to make sure.
You might be thinking of number 2 as the big one discussion.
Let me just.
Spoilers.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I've got the videos in the wrong order. I just need to skip to the next video.
Ah.
Cool. There we go.
Number
Right.
2, yeah, Metal Gear. This is Metal Gear. Metal Gear 2, best game.
No one else thinks Metal Gear 2 is the best Metal Gear, Sean.
Not even I do, but it's the best. Damn it.
Right. You want to tease
it's the-
runner up or go straight into it?
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, just put it out there.
Bam.
Tactical JRPGs are really great and addictive.
Have you
And have
played?
a horrendous amount of hours.
This is my go-to whenever I haven't played a game. Is have you played this game that's similar to it, but I have played? Have you played many Fire Emblems?
John has. Let's get John on Discord. Hang on. Just ring him. Oh
Have you
yeah. In terms of, have you played Fire Emblem? That's a good question.
Yeah, I've played 2 Fire Emblem games. Enjoyed them both.
Is this kind
played-
of the same idea?
But you put the first one over. Then.
They're slightly
Or is it a
feels.
different game altogether?
They're tactical JRPGs. You build up the
Okay.
characters. You become they are fundamentally similar. Tactical JRPGs. They're strategy games, but the characters persist throughout the whole game. You're building up the same fighters, the same knights and such over the course of the entire game. Permadeath is a thing, so you become inordinately attached to these characters as you go through the whole quest with them.
Okay.
And that's a big point of these. Like, which is more customization? Fire Emblem. Well, Final Fantasy Tactics is definitely much more kitchen sink than Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is kind of you need something of every class. It's you've got archers, you've got pikemen, you've got spears. Everyone's good at a different thing, but the classes are fairly generic. Tactics is a lot more. There are like some real bizarre classes you can work your people towards. Have quite crazy, overpowered tactics and people playing off.
Okay, because it sounds like maybe I get on with it more. Because what I really liked about Fire Emblem Awakening was that by the time you get to like the second half of the game, you can kind of make your characters have any abilities you want by sort of reclassing them into different things. But it sounds like Tactics, you can make any character kind of like that from the beginning.
Tactics has a load of classes, like crazy classes. Like numerologist and mathematician, gun person, and time mage. Like you start off with kind of the core class, like fighter, black mage, and then once you've mastered certain combinations of classes, you can kind of level up. You can kind of go up the chain to kind of weird, kind of hybrid classes. It's there's a lot to it. It's very kitchen sink. There's lots of different ways you can play it.
And this was back on PlayStation 1, was it?
PS1 and re-released on PSP.
Okay. And I haven't really seen anything since then. That's interesting. Because you know
there've been sequels, but yeah, the original has. Oh, it came out on phones actually in the early days of.
Ah, okay. This is set in its own Final Fantasy universe. It's not like a crossover.
This is set in Ivalice. This is the Ivalice team. So it's the same people who made what's Vagrant Story and Final Fantasy 12 and the other Final Fantasy Tactics games. So they have kind of a shared universe it's always like several, but it's always kind of several hundred years apart, so distinct and on different continents.
But they might have a brief sort of head nod towards events of other games every now and then.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm surprised they're not still releasing these games, considering how successful Fire Emblem is in the moment. You would have thought Square Enix would try and cash in on that, but because it sounds like
the last one they did was
But then there is that other game. What's that game that was in Tom's top 10? Disgaea, because Disgaea seems super fucking never ending by the way that Tom's described
so much content.
I got defeated by the first Disgaea game. There's so much.
Just
numbers.
Too much. So Tactics is like a happy middle ground between Fire Emblem and Disgaea, is it?
Yeah, it has. It's very Final Fantasy. It has that accessible, kind of easy to understand, but still got quite a lot of scope to make kind of custom characters how you want.
Okay.
It has a lot of the accessibility of the mainline Final Fantasy.
All right. Okay. I should probably give it a go. Because I'm a bit
sounds really
Fire
good.
Emblem, but
yeah, I haven't really played much of Fire Emblem, but I sunk a lot of time into the mobile version of it, and that was kind of like fun mess about thing. But if that same sort of proof of concept had loads and loads of depth to it, and I can customize my characters and do all these different classes and do silly stuff without all the phone garbage, microtransactions, and that bullshit, that would be great. That sounds like a great game to me.
I haven't even touched the phone.
That's kind of good.
Yeah. The actual number 4.
Yeah, I like strategy games. I like games where these games are great for kind of getting you involved, because strategy is satisfying, and having the same characters carry through with you through the whole game is a great hook when you're doing that, because you want to you get entrenched. This feels like your squad.
And losing really feels dangerous. And yeah.
So let's get to my favorite game in that genre. A game I can rant about a lot.
Squad 7, move out.
It's
Proceed
Valkyria
the
Chronicles.
rant.
Okay. Valkyria Chronicles is World War II, but very anime.
I can see.
Yeah.
It's a strategy game.
Looks kind of nice.
You have like an overall map view of the battlefield. You can see your troops, your units, and such. And then when you spend an action point during your turn and click on a unit, you zoom onto the battlefield and assume kind of semi-direct control of your character as you move, run around, take shots and such. And the big thing on this is when you're not aiming your gun but are moving around, you are susceptible to interception fire from enemies based on where they position them. and likewise during the enemy turn. So there's both strategy and kind of the terror of having to manually control your beloved characters who permanently die into like behind enemy lines. It's good.
So it's Hogs of War with anime characters.
Kinda.
It's not. I can tell it's not.
To an extent.
No Rick Mile though. Big sad. Best game announcer ever.
I watched it played many years ago, I think, when the first one was on PS3, and it did look really good. And it's available on Switch now, isn't it? Or am I crazy?
Yeah, it's available like dirt cheap on Switch now.
Seems like a really good idea for a game this, though, doesn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
it's something that not many people seem to have cashed in on. And it is
potential
actually,
resist crossfire.
It's something that we've talked about ourselves before, about overview world, and then you go in and assume control of one character.
Yeah, and then do thing, and then you can pop back up.
But this is kind of like more turn-based.
Yeah, rather than a first-person shooter. But we did actually, there was a first-person shooter game. What was that? We had a look at it, didn't we, on Steam?
Yeah, but no one's playing it anymore, so we couldn't play it
No,
online
so it was
with anyone.
pointless.
Yeah. But so there's been 4 in this series, is it, Steve?
Yeah, the first one was on PS3 and is now available on everything. It's probably still the best entry point to the series. It has a few elements that are... The first game has a few tactics that are a bit broken once you learn how to exploit them, but it's still probably the best game, kind of on average, in the series. 2, we don't talk about 2, because 2 was a spin-off on the PSP set in high school, and
Oh, what?
no one liked that. But because 2 was so bad, they never released 3 in the West, which was also on the PSP.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But it was also on the PSP, but was actually really fantastic and was about kind of scrappier, kind of guerrilla warfare, doing dirty work behind enemy lines, and it kind of was a good way of scaling the series down thematically to actually make it work on the PSP. And then 4 came out last year, which I never expected to happen. Is bloody fantastic.
So does 4 seem like the most loyal sequel to
Yes,
Valkyria
4
Chronicles
is the full-blown sequel, but 3 is also very good.
Okay.
4 has, like, find a lot of the broken bits of the first game. Like, you can no longer just power up your scouts and have them rush in and win the battle really quickly.
Yeah.
But I'd still recommend the first one as your entry point. It's really cheap everywhere, and the story is really just fun, overblown anime war, evil empires and shit.
You know what? Of all things, you know what this game is really reminding me of, now I'm thinking about it? Fucking Warhammer 40,000. So you got your movement phase, and then you got your shooting phase, and I bet if you don't move and just shoot straight away, you get a shooting bonus. It's...
See, that only works for rapid-fire weapons, James.
Yeah, yeah. It's an assault weapon, but...
fine.
It is...
You can charge afterwards then, hooray!
So, responding to Stabby Jack, yeah, it was Nuclear Dawn that we played. Fuck, I might need to... How many hours is it to beat Valkyria Chronicles 1?
It's not humongous. It's around 30 minutes.
Maz is saying she's worried about it being really difficult. Do you think it's particularly difficult? Or?
I thought it was fairly balanced.
Compared to Final Fantasy Tactics or your average Fire Emblem game, is it easier or harder? Or
It's easier than most Fire Emblem.
okay.
Oh, alright. If it's cheap then, have a go at it, Maz.
Oh, I like the
You like
onomatopoeia
these sort of games, don't you?
of the
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah.
I might just buy this on Switch. I forgot. Yeah, watching it in action for the first time in like 10 years is reminding me that I wanted to play it in the first place.
Yeah, there's
Some
the odd
motion-
mission. There's the odd mission where RNG will just wipe you, and you'll be like, "Screw this," and you'll go back to a save state. It doesn't auto-save your permadeaths, so you can cheese around it a bit.
Because there's not too much different of us compared to XCOM, because all of the controls your character is doing while it's in this third person, you could just
It's
do.
pretty much yeah,
via
it's
XCOM,
XCOM
via
without a
clicking.
grid.
Yeah, and I do think I prefer that about the grid. That ragdoll physics is pretty funny. He just planked immediately.
No, it was in the Steam sale as well. £15 now.
One odd thing I like about this game is talking about kind of getting overly attached to your characters as you bring them into battle. This one assigns lots of arbitrary personality archetypes to your characters, which kind of makes you even more attached, so it's very cool.
Okay.
The very first time I played the demo of this, I took out one of my soldiers, had her wade into some long grass and crouch, because that would give her cover. And she immediately sneezed and said, I
really?
hate you. It's like, Jesus, it's like, this game, I like you. And some of your characters are racists, and that's a character trait.
Fuck.
And it means if you put there's like a persecuted race that people don't like because they call it magical calamity centuries ago, and these people will like complain if you put them on the battlefield next to people of that race.
Okay.
And I just didn't let any Darksun haters into my squad, so I never had that issue.
I was gonna ask.
Just bounce. Oh, it's a grenade.
I was going to ask if this was set in actual Europe or anime pretend Europe. But I think you answered the question.
It's very pretend. There is some magical stuff. It's very anime pretend, yeah.
I like the concept of there being an anime pretend Europe. It's like a thing.
Yeah, the Switch sale is on. I don't know.
Yeah, if the Switch, I mean, Maz doesn't have a Switch. Yeah, it'd have to be the PC. That's why I looked on Steam just now.
It'll probably run better on PC anyway, but to me, this looks like a really good portable game.
Yeah, I bought Valkyria Chronicles on the Switch despite it being available on everything else because I wanted to play
the pacing of these games is perfect, right, for a Switch, like on the go. If you need to stop and not make a move, you don't have to. And
you're not missing out. I don't think you're missing out on not playing on like a big television in strategy games normally.
Oh, nice one, Maz. Are you going to get a Switch Lite or an actual big boy Switch? So I was wondering what people make of those who don't have a Switch. Yeah, I think it would work better for some people we know, but not necessarily everyone. Yeah, I think for Maz it would be perfect. If you're looking to just take it to places and go places with it, just get the portable Lite version. But they do stream as well, don't they? So you're definitely going to need a normal Switch if you want to stream anything. Oh yeah, I suppose you can Secret Mana, fuck yeah. That's get all the classics as well, I suppose, if you're into those. Well, they're doing the sequel to Secret Mana that was only released in Japan. It's being released on the Switch for the first time. Oofed. So that's why Maz needs to buy a Switch. Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to whoever is spending the time translating a SNES ROM in 2019.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just hope that it's a good remake though, because the fucking Secret Mana remake was terrible, I heard.
Oh yeah, they're remaking it as well.
Yeah. Oh, do you get both in it? Do you get the original that's been translated as well as a remake at the same time?
They've just released like the 3-pack of the classics Mana games, and that includes like a proper translation of the SNES version of Seiken Densetsu 3. And then the remake of Densetsu 3 is coming next year in 3D.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, any closing remarks on Valkyria Chronicles?
Don't watch the anime adaptation because it ruins everything about the characters.
Has there ever been a good anime adaptation of a game? I don't think many people had anything good to say about the Persona anime.
Bro, I'm stoked you're here, man.
Yeah. The game is basically an anime. Just they had nothing to lose and they just were like, let's change everything.
Super Mario Brothers Super Show. That's the best anime of the game.
The worst thing anime did is because this game was made by the people who made Skies of Arcadia.
Okay.
A lot of Skies of Arcadia characters have cameos in it as like generic soldiers you can recruit.
Oh really?
And in the anime, they like would randomly pick like nameless soldiers from the game to use in like different scenes in the background. And I'm guessing, not knowing what they were doing, they picked Vice from Skies of Arcadia to be some mook soldier in the anime who just gets gunned down.
Oh, that's grim.
They didn't know what they're doing. They tried to turn it into a really melodramatic.
Right. let's move on to
Sweet,
number
I've sold,
3.
I've
What
sold
have we
people on
got?
Valkyria.
Yeah,
My work
you
here is
think you
done.
fucking
Yeah, well
sold me
done.
on it. I forgot how good that game looked.
Yeah.
Number 3, transition, please. Thank you.
Oh, this is
the
this is the one.
big boy one.
Oh no,
Right.
this is
Let's
this
let's
is.
get through this, shall we? What have we got? First things first.
You could just whack them on the screen.
Back them all up at the same time. All right.
Yeah.
Right. So one of these
I was
games is
thinking
not like the other.
Mario Celeste, Donkey Kong.
Okay, but platform games are good. Like I could fill an entire top 10 in platform games. So instead, I just whacked them all this runner-up thing. My thing with platform games is I think platform game is the ultimate genre because a big proportion of my favorite games of all time are platform. While at the same time, a huge proportion of all platform games that have ever been made are terrible.
Yeah.
That was I was going to interject with that, but I don't need to now.
Yeah, it's such a fundamentally genre. It was the FPS of its time. Like, it's platforms, you jump on the enemies, you collect the doodad. And so yeah, the games that get it right, I have so much admiration for. Like, yeah, all of these games are terrific.
They're so easy to get wrong. I found with platformers, like they'll just have like slightly odd mechanics or weird hitboxes, or just like it's just not quite perfect. But some games are just smooth as butter, like Mario Galaxy. It's just like delightful.
So I have there's 2 things that majorly stick out of the selection here. So
Go for it.
for me, big fan of the games you've selected. The only thing I would personally swap out for me, I know it's your list, it's not mine, but I'd take out 3D World and put in Mario Odyssey. But the main selling point I know of 3D World is the multiplayer. Did you play it multiplayer or single player or?
Weirdly, towards the end of Odyssey, I love Odyssey. Great at what it did, kind of the stolen ability based gameplay. But at times I kind of miss 3D World because 3D World was a bit more fundamental. It was core Mario abilities, so the level design was the star of that one.
Okay.
There was nothing in Odyssey that got me like Champions Road in 3D World. Champions Road was a masterpiece of challenging level design.
Okay.
Because it was testing like all the little nuances of the game, and Odyssey was great, but the last level was kind of like, now you have a section where you're this guy, now you have a section for this power. It was a bit more. It's not a bad game. I can't really describe it. It's just not quite my style.
So I really
Odyssey was a joyful game, but
because with I really got on with Super Mario 3D Land for the 3DS, but for some reason
Fucking love that game.
Yeah, for some reason 3D World didn't click with me. I don't know if maybe just because I got on a bit better as a platformer, but 3D World I kind of drifted off after a few hours. But Hannah told me about, she played it 4-player, and there's a level in 3D World, like I think in the second world, where you're on a train and there's like coins all over the place, but you have like a hat that you put on that shoots bullet bills or cannonballs or something. And when I was doing it single player, it was just a bit run of the mill. But when she described it to me that it was on 4-player, what I didn't realize is that all those cannonballs that you fire and you have no control over when they fire, they attack your teammates. And so you damage your teammates running around, and all of your mates are fucking screaming at you, going like, stop fucking attacking us, and you're just running around trying to get all the coins. So it was this level that, like, in single player was just sort of, I don't really know why I've got this power up, but yay, coins. And when I was described to it in the 4-player, it was like an entirely different experience. So I think when I heard about that, I was like, I'm only really going to go back and replay it or play it properly once I've got 3 other people to play it. But it's a Wii U game, so that's never going to happen now.
Yeah, no, that's never happened in the history of the world, except this playthrough.
But the other games in this, Donkey Kong Country 2 is in my top 10. That edged out all these other ones more or less just because of the soundtrack. Yoshi's Island was an absolute favourite when I was a kid, but as I've grown older, I prefer Donkey Kong Country 2. Mario Galaxy is fantastic, and Celeste stands out because it's the only non-Nintendo published game here. What is it about Celeste that, you know, stands out compared to fucking like Super Meat Boy or something? Like what?
Celeste is the standard bearer for kind of the Meat Boy genre. It's the kind of clicky, wall jumpy, small level ones, and Celeste is what does it best, because Celeste is really well balanced and forgiving despite being very hard.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
If you die, it sends you back to the start of like the tiny room that you're in, and you get as many attempts as you want. It has a really impressive wealth of accessibility options for people who can't quite deal with certain elements of the difficulty. That it doesn't hide or guilt trip you if you want to use them.
And I guess the main thing to me that stands out among not only just other indie platformers, but also all the other games on this list, is that Celeste has fantastic characters and it actually has a story as well.
It does. That's not really relevant to why I put it in this round, but yes, also it does.
Oh, it's pure for gameplay.
Really it does have a really wonderful character story.
Yeah,
a lot of the themes are close to my heart in that game, so yeah, I loved it.
And it does in terms of audio design as well, I really loved the sort of Animal Crossing-esque way that the characters make noises when they talk. Like, I ended up thinking, no, I almost forgot the, oh, thanks for a follow to her, Mr. Goober. I almost called her Celeste, but she's not Celeste. What's her name?
Madeline.
Madeline, yeah. Like, I ended up like falling in love with that character just because of how cute her voice was at times.
Yeah, and on counterbalance that, I love Madeline. Like her alter ego Madeline, her voice is so like mocking.
So so snarky.
Nice, despite just being Animal Crossing blips.
Yeah, and the sort of hipsterish guy that takes photos for Instagram as well. His voice, I don't know how to describe it, but his voice sounds like a rubber band, and it's just it sounds really stretchy. Yeah, I don't know, but if you hear it, I bet you'll agree with me that it sounds like a rubber band.
Okay.
To me, it doesn't overthrow Diddy's Conquest, but unfortunately, nostalgia glasses have to be in play at that point. But yeah,
I really like Diddy's Conquest.
I really do. I just the music for just the music for Bramble Blast is why it's on my top 10.
Yeah,
but,
I like Diddy's Conquest too because it's a really good example, kind of a slower, more technical 2D platform. You've got to learn how to kind of roll, like use the rolls, the jumps, and the throws, and the tools you've got are quite. It's not like run and jump. It's got tools you have to stop and use, and
yeah. As well
it does
as the
that
whole,
very well.
And sometimes you'll get to a point in the stage where there's a bonus barrel, but you need to play as the other Kong, and you don't have them at the moment, so you have to come back later. And
that's 90s.
Yeah, but out of all of the games on this list, like all of these games encourage you to be a bit of a completionist. I feel Diddy's Conquest probably rewards you for most for it. I don't know what Celeste's completionist goal is, but I know what it is for Yoshi's Island and Mario Galaxy. I find Diddy's Conquest is the easiest one to 100%, and also rewards you for most for it.
Yeah, totally.
But sorry, we've dwelled on these ones for because you've got your actual number 3 now, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't have much to say about it. So,
well, let's bring it up anyway.
All right.
It's
fair enough.
This is quite personal to that you picked this one because this is the first ever console game I played.
Same.
Hey!
This is why James loves his Mario Maker so much. He just made these.
That's why I've only made Mario World stages, yeah.
If you open up my brain and look for like hang on, my cat's
a cat.
Meow.
What are you after, Jim? Is she after your night meal that doesn't exist, but you believe does exist? I think she is. Anyway, Super Mario World kind of is video games. Like, there was a summer when I was 4 or 5, and I went to stay with my cousin for a couple of days. And I went into their room, and this was on the TV screen.
Right.
And it was colourful and fun, and they had
that slapping
controllers
soundtrack.
and they had control pads, and they were making it move. And prior to that split second, I had no concept of video games. I didn't know they existed. I didn't know they were a thing. So that is
this is your origin game.
This is video game
Every time you say "this is video games," you're just instantly putting the image of Donkey doing the "this is video games."
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Please stop saying it. It's hilarious.
I'm,
It's like, no, this is video games. It just goes to some other shit game. It's like, nah, this is video games.
I'm an old man who doesn't watch many YouTube.
No, but no. You should watch Donkey though. He's one of the best game reviewers I've ever seen in my life. It's fantastic. Just his scope of the world is just, I love it. Sorry, please continue.
I just wanted to. Sorry.
Also, go on. No,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to ask, how many times have you beaten this game?
Countless.
Yeah, same.
No, James, like, no, I'll be a countless times plus one. Just stop
Infinity
fighting.
countless. No,
Infinity plus times 2.
Because it sounds like you're on the same page, and the extent of that is, I know this game so well that it feels weird, kind of seeing some of the elements in Mario Maker that aren't in Super Mario World. Because you see, like, Bowser's sprite, and you know that wasn't in Mario World. In Mario World, he rode his little Koopa
It looks
car.
super janky when you see it, though. It's like, that doesn't fit there, does it?
Yeah. And now they've added extra levels into Mario Maker, sort of level themes, like desert themes, for example, that aren't in Mario World, and Koji Kondo has made new music for those stages. So it's really weird feeling. Yeah, sorry, really weird feeling. Hearing music that the musician, sorry, what? Composer, sorry, brain fart. The composer has basically said, this is the music that would be in that game that was an instrumental part of your childhood if I was asked to make it. And then you hear it when you're in your 30s. It's like, it's so fucking weird. I don't know if you've heard the music, have you?
No, I haven't.
No,
Played Maker 2 yet.
yeah, you should check it out, just because it's so weird hearing this music that it's like as if they made an expansion pack to Super Mario World after all these years. Which
Also,
sorry. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, Steve, if you love platformers and you love this game, why don't you have Super Mario Maker yet? Like,
Because I'm not supposed to be spending money on games this month. Because I'm about
fuck that.
I'm about to move house. And
Call it work. Sell your cat.
Chimney ain't worth much.
Oh man, yeah. Maybe we can make a fundraiser for you to get you the game.
Oh, well, actually, if you don't have the game, that means next time I see you, you can play my stage in Mario Maker, and
Oh,
you could be experiment number 2 after I made Sean suffer for a few hours.
I can play
yeah.
it-
I was not in a good mood that day either.
I can play it
I
in
was-
person, and you can cackle over my shoulder.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. I might have to
Yeah, I want to
redesign
watch
it a bit.
too. I want to know what he thinks of it.
Yeah, but oh man, so because
I suppose the only other. Oh, go on.
go. No, go on, because I was just going to say, I know how hard it must be to come up with things to say about this game, because you must live and breathe this game the same way that I do.
The one thing that I think this game still hasn't been beaten, even by subsequent Mario games, is how kind of branching and organic the overworld.
Yeah,
That's
I get
still
what you mean.
fantastic, and especially when I was 5 years old when I got my stairs, it was magical. Like, oh, I went through a different door, and now I'm sneaking under this lake.
Yeah, there's
And then you hear from someone like, oh, if you finish this level in a certain time, a different exit opens. You get to-
that fucking world, yeah. That level is like
Yeah.
6 different exits based on how fast you
Yeah.
get through the first bit, and it
and
doesn't
that stuff was
spell it out
amazing
for you.
Yeah. In a pre-internet era, that stuff was amazing and magical.
Yeah,
I miss gaming before. the
Hang on,
internet.
I'm gonna go get a ancient tomb. I'll be back in just 10 seconds.
An ancient what?
Did he say ancient tomb?
A tomb? Unless you meant tome.
Oh, maybe.
If he comes back with the book, we know what he meant. I'm just waiting to see what it is.
Yeah, why do you have to leave it till I've run out of things to say about this?
I don't know. Don't worry about it. No. We like, whenever James goes AFK, we like to just like idly chit chat about nonsense. Hello, James.
Sorry, I'm gonna make myself a bit big just for a second. Where am I?
So what exactly are you doing? We didn't hear what you were going to
grabbed-
get.
That's because I did not say.
You said something.
Whoa.
I was gonna get an ancient tomb, which is this is the guide I used to
Oh, we
beat
did
Super
say
Mario
tomb.
World.
Oh god.
Yeah, I still got it after all these years. This was published by Prima. Wait, that's Prima. They still make guides, don't they? Sorry if it's green, so... Ah, fuck's sake, it's disappeared. Yeah, Prima Publishing. So this is actually Prima Guides. Fucking hell, that's crazy.
I had one of these guides, but it was for a game I didn't own on console. So that was how I experienced that game. By just
You just read the guide.
Just kind of playing through the maps in my head.
Oh fuck! Look at this. They got a. Sorry, I've never properly read these earlier bits. So they got a bit here about Super Nintendo scaling. So they got a bit here about the technical way how like the sprites scale bigger. Man,
yeah,
so
that's lovely.
It's so in the it'd be like mode 7 is better than fast processing.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't looked into this shit in years. See this bit here, the instructions for swimming. Swim. Oh man. Yeah, so it's because you reminded me of this when you said about pre-internet era, and I didn't know any kids at school that had a Super Nintendo, so my mum bought that for me when I didn't know how to get to certain bits.
Got you a nice book.
Yeah,
and this will be your friend.
So yeah, you don't need friends. You've got books, which is a good thing to teach your kids, really.
Nature's friend. Wait.
Yeah.
The opposite.
But man, there was a. Did you get? Sorry, I feel like we're leaving Shaw now, so
fucking hell, that boss kill though.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
You know the special worlds where you got the special written at the top, and but you get it after beating Star World.
Mm.
Were you stuck on that stage where you had to get the P balloon and hover across the rest of the stage for like ages, or was that just me?
Oh, tubular.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the name of the level, so I obviously have some trouble.
Yeah. I was stuck
that was
on
a level.
For
that
ages.
Was the level.
The only stage of the entire game I remember as a kid like really fucking struggling with.
Yeah, that's the infamous level for this game.
Alright, cool. I'm glad it wasn't just me then. Sorry, Sean. Sorry to leave you out on that. I just had to get closure on that element of my life after all these years. I think like this game is also why, like as a kid, I love like Yoshi as a character, and why I always played as Yoshi in like Mario Party and stuff. It is a weird fucking design because he does like bonk him on the head in the first one, and I think they changed the sprites in Mario Maker so that he doesn't bonk him on the head anymore.
I always read it as just kind of a
like a point, yeah.
Like that thing. I don't know if that's people reading too much into it or not.
It could be. People do like to do that.
Yeah, especially with video games. Like, goddamn.
So,
boop, boop.
When I was a kid, I preferred Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, more for because it had a really cute sort of chalk-based art style. And then as I got older, I kind of regressed back and started preferring Mario World again. Did you go through a phase of that as well, or was Mario World always your favourite?
I think they're just both different streams.
They are very radically different, aren't they?
Yeah,
like,
they're very much testaments of both ends of the same console generation. Like the first one is like, look at all these colours we can do, it's so fun and happy.
Yeah.
And tight. And the latter end is, we can do all this stuff with the SNES now, and we can make.
So look at this bit rate we have access to.
And we can make a game that's really maximalist in its like ability set and move set, and as a result of knowing the tech, like all of the things, like so many gameplay elements of Yoshi's Island stem from having the technology and the ability to actually deliver on those.
That's true. Like there's that boss stage where something
The
for
moon.
Raven, where the moon is like rotating with the background of it as well. And yeah, well, that's like early on fucking Mario Galaxy shit, isn't it? Yeah. In closing remarks on Super Mario World?
It's lovely.
It is lovely, I agree. What's next? What have we got?
Oh, this is the one you were.
Oh, this is the one that I'm looking forward to, how me and Sean respond to it. Alright.
I'm trying to remember who was who. Oh yeah.
Right.
Excuse me.
Runner up, Final Fantasy VI. So
Yeah.
My favorite Final Fantasy,
Some
and by
good
that,
ass.
I mean the only Final Fantasy I've ever finished. I haven't played that many of them, to be fair, but
like the upper kind of 50% of Final Fantasy is all good shit.
Oh yeah,
Like-
I don't think there's a bad one. Well, there's some questionable Final Fantasy games, but
they've managed to get me wanting to play Final Fantasy VII, like in fucking 2019 for a first time. So they can't be that bad, can they? But what is there a bad numbered one? Like I've never heard anyone talk about Final Fantasy V.
I like 5. 5 is just pretty good. It's a bit conventional.
Because
it just doesn't stand out as much, really.
Yeah.
I like 4.
I liked 4. 4
Yeah.
is genuinely quite good. 1 through 3, I kind of just shrug. I haven't really played them. Like 1 and 2 are basically the same idea.
Yeah. The kind of the golden age for me is 6, and I also am a big fan of 12, having just replayed it in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, see, 12
that was a game with rough edges back in the day, which have been kind of made a lot better by the
So I remember when 12 came out, it got amazing reviews, and I was like, wow. Sorry,
I got fireworks going off in the background. Can you hear them?
Oh yeah, like tiny bongo drums.
Yeah, we just keep them going.
I remember getting fantastic reviews, but I don't see anyone talking about it fondly. Everyone's always said, "Oh, it's a bit of a mess to play, and you get really lost." But you're saying that the remake, they've kind of ironed out a lot of those kinks.
Oh yeah, and like the ability to
12.
Oh right. Wait, which one was 12? I always get 11 and 12 confused.
11 was
12
online, wasn't it?
Deserty one with gambits.
That was the one I switched off at. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's the one that got good reviews, but I don't know.
You can use the gambit system to do your combat instead of all the turn-based shit like every other game you've been used to in the series. All right, fuck that shit. Get out of my house.
Heart gambits.
Nah.
It's a great system. More games should do. Also, slightly weeby opinion. Playing 12 with the Japanese voice track also improved it, because I think it had a much better performances in Japanese than English. I think it was very generic, strained anime voices in English.
They hadn't quite figured out English dubs yet, then. Because it's not like 10 was famous for having a good dub, is it? So
Beach their own. We shouldn't be talking about 12 because that's probably like my 6th favorite Final Fantasy.
Okay, let's talk about your favorite and your second favorite ones at the same time.
Yeah, 6 is so close to being my favorite, but
it's not because your favorite.
Yes, fucking yes.
Yeah,
it's not this one.
Fuck.
Is it this one?
Look at this.
This is beautiful.
Look at this delightful game.
So this is, in case you can't tell,
so good.
This is Sean's favorite Final Fantasy.
Oh my god, it's so good.
And you put my favorite Final Fantasy as your second favorite. So
when I say about games being handcrafted like to the pixel, this is the standard bearer.
These scrub lords have left on the blue backgrounds for the text boxes, though. Big mistake there. Sorry. But oh, look at it. Oh, I love it so much. Especially this whole sequence in the boss fight at the end of it.
Oh yeah, I chose this sequence. Really awesome.
Yeah.
We just got to talk long enough to get to Southgate.
Oh god, they have to do the entire thing, don't they? Oh, and then they just about make it through Southgate, and it's just like, oh, my heart. And then Vivi started to get ideas. Look at him. Oh, my...
Well, I see that this is part 9 of the game. And how many hours of his footage? 36 minutes.
This is still very early in.
So this is about 5 hours in, is it?
Just leave it running where it is.
This is just about far enough through the game for every character to start developing a new arc.
Okay.
Like, Vivi's now all paranoid about what Eve even is. Garnet's called Dagger now. Like, Zidane's just like, I don't really get anything. Who even am I? And it's like,
Zidane's a lovable sleaze.
And then Rat Lady turns up when you get to the town. Oh, it's so good. I don't know. Sorry, you talk about it, Steve. I don't know what you want to say about it.
Well, just as a side, shout out to the... I know I've complained on your streams before about some of Square's remakes being a bit shoddy, but the re-release of 9 looks handsome. This footage
It's all right, isn't it? It's a lot crisper. It's like they anti-aliased it and kind of left it at that.
Cleaned up. They've actually like cleaned up models even in terms of polygon.
Yeah, they were kind of noisy with the polygon sometimes, but
Yeah.
not. I don't. The thing is, when I played it, I don't think it's something I would have noticed because it probably looked quite good when I initially played it. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter.
It looked hecking good 20 years.
Yeah, but the only thing I noticed back when I played it was the backgrounds. Same with 8, is the backgrounds and the characters didn't really mesh a lot of the time, which something to its credit, Digimon World did really well. It all looked kind of shit, so it worked great. Whereas Final Fantasy, like the backgrounds looked a little bit too good, so it was a bit weird.
Well, now the
Yeah, it's
backgrounds
crispy. Look at it. Sorry.
Well, now the backgrounds look too bad because Square lost the original source files, so they couldn't upscale them for the remake.
Yeah. But now it's a bit, but it blends nicely. It's good enough.
Yeah, this game, the design of this game, the world.
That's the thing I like about it the most. Like every location you go to fits together, but they're all quite radically different and interesting in their own sort of way.
It has great senses of culture different between cities. Every NPC is unique and has a name and looks weird. Like there's like a hippo chap over there and a weird bird with a trumpet. Like there's no.
Oh god, yeah, the musician people.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure if they were permanently musicians or something. Oh no, that was number 10. I was confused by that in.
Yeah.
You got those people you see for like 2 seconds when you find the Guado people, and they're just like, are you actually just musical instruments given sentience and sort of like animal parts? I don't know, but whatever. Just roll with it.
Yeah, Ari Stabby Jack in the chat. For 9, they lost just the high-res renders of the backgrounds. So they
pre-rendered backgrounds all gone.
But yeah, 8, they lost everything.
Yeah. Oopsie, they said as they deleted the file. Where did it go?
So did they remake all the backgrounds for 9, or did they manage to trace?
They just did their best with files.
Okay.
So they're a bit blurry compared to the super sharp characters sit on top of them.
Yeah.
But it still looks cool.
Yeah.
It's in mobile as well, right? This one.
Yeah, it's on.
Which
everything.
it'd be fine with in mobile. I think that'd be quite nice.
It's on Switch. I'm considering buying it for the 4th time.
Yeah, no, I can't buy it again. Once because I wanted it. The second time because I broke the disc because it got all scratched. And the third time just because I got to play this again and buy it because the box is cool. And that was it. Oh shit, Black Waltz, motherfucker. Go and get you.
Oh, that's a pissed off fucking black mage, isn't
he? Yeah.
Yeah, and
look at him wheeling that wheel. Look at him. He don't give a shit. He turned this baby around 5 times. Steiner just pops him from the side like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Can you hear Steiner when he jumps?
He makes so much noise. He makes that noise all the time, though.
I think this is the only time we actually see Zidane.
Oh,
no, just like the clanking sort of. I haven't got the sounds on now, but I can hear the clanking metal of him moving around. Oh man.
Yeah, this is just big, epic Japanese storytelling with creativity.
Yeah, and what I liked so much about it as well was how it kind of felt like if they made the first games as off the bat at the time period they made this is what they would have kind of looked like, because it's so traditionally a Final Fantasy game. Like all that, you got red mages, black mages, white mages, you got thieves, you got fighters, and all that shit's in there, and it's just lovely. If you haven't ever played an RPG, I'd recommend you play this one. It's all fairly straightforward. It's lovely.
It was my first JRPG as well, which helps with the nostalgia.
Okay.
See, mine was Final Fantasy VIII, so that's probably why I'm the only person that liked that game. Even though it wasn't, good. But
Final Fantasy VIII is to Final Fantasy what Metal Gear Solid 2 is.
Exactly.
It's the one that's like.
It's like, what exactly were they trying to do here? I don't get it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
So
8 is the one where they're like, oh, there's a sorceress, we've imprisoned her on, but the moon is made of monsters, and a giant zit of monsters is going to come down her from her space prison. Like on 8, they were just writing this as they go, and we're having a fun time.
And they got to the point in 8, it's like, oh, but we all known each other since we were kids, and we also know the evil person. Wait, what the fuck? It's like, this sucks. This is so bad. This is the worst plot I've ever had. But He's got a gun that's also a sword. I don't care. It's like, yay. You could fire it in combat. You do the attack and press R1, just he hits and goes wing, bang as well. Like, it's wonderful.
Time for another boss fight, and
But the draw system and the junctioning system was terrible. Just
Oh, yeah.
leave it at that.
Keep in mind that
What's John saying?
It's endearingly terrible.
in all of these,
Prep work for fight. Oh, Spirits Within. Jesus, oof, that was a mess.
because she ordered.
It looked great at the time, though. I'm glad you picked Final Fantasy IX.
Yeah.
I'm glad someone else has played it. Other than you
I
and
saw
John.
that. I saw that on the list and I thought you'd be very happy with it.
I am happy.
Like, there's a lot on this list for me to talk about, but I saw this like, Sean would be happy with that one.
The thing about all the stuff that's happening here, a lot of it's just born of there's something happens when they leave the initial town, they escape, they go into a forest, bad shit happens, and then there's a whole different plot going on, and these guys they intersect so often, and I just love it. The amount of stuff that's going on at once in the story is just, it's so good. Like you don't even have to play the game, you could just watch it, which is why I wanted to stream it, because I think the story's good enough just to be its own thing. Like it's just really well done. And like it doesn't tell you anything. It never tells you anything. And you get to like the third disc and it's like,
Okay, let's do this.
by the way, and it starts to and it all suddenly falls together. You're like, why is the castle alive? And then just like my brain
3 items.
does all make sense though. So
And in the meantime, the world is enough to keep you going.
yeah, and it's all just sort of, everything feels like it's sort of
It's-
falling apart, but everyone's okay
Yeah.
with it.
FF9 is kind of my gold standard kind of cultural world building, especially in games. Like, just as a random example, the bit where you've got to kind of ride the tram line from Lindblom to Trino. In a regular game, you'd be like, oh, you get on the tram, you ride the tram, you're there.
Oh yeah, and this year you actually have to watch them do it all, and and the fact that the tram is a thing that's just like crawling along.
They've explained how the tram works, like what tram. So when you get to the top mountain, you have to stop and get off and wait for another tram.
Yeah, they just
And
keep
there's like a
going.
whole up there. You can like, oh, while you're here, have the famous Southgate bundt cake, and then you run into another member of your team from earlier, and thereafter, because you didn't need to have details.
Yeah,
like
none
that.
of that. None of that stuff needs to be there. But
And
yeah,
like
it's
statues,
wonderful.
statues have dates and coherent of the Lindblomian family. on them.
And everyone loves Geishel Greens so much. Well, not everyone. Some people hate them, but the fact that you know that about like, who is it that loves them? Is it Steiner that loves them? I can't remember.
Yeah,
but like pickles.
Steiner
is-
really gets into.
Yeah, but other people smell them and just go, "What the fuck is that?" But it's lovely. Just all the little things you learn about the characters and what they like and dislike, and like, it's great. And I love that Vivi and Steiner work together when you have them in combat. Like he just enchants the sword, like turns around and goes wee, and then fire.
Yeah.
Like yeah, he just
Like-
runs in
like-
there and hits him.
Like from the off, Steiner is standoffish to everyone, apart from
Yeah.
Vivi, who's immediately like, "Oh, a mage."
Hey kid, you know fire, right? And he's like, yeah. And it's like, make my sword fire. Okay.
He
Friends.
calls him Master Vivi.
Yeah, he like sucks up to him so much. Bless. But I mean, Steiner's not that much standoffish. He's just very dutiful, isn't he? He just really doesn't. I think he's really doesn't like adjusting to being on the same team as a thief and also the queen being, and because of Garnet. Doesn't matter. That's not important. No one knows who those characters are. Point is, it's a really good game, and everyone should like just give it a pop if you've not played an RPG. And even if you hate RPGs, play this one. It's good. Especially if you've only played like Final Fantasy VII. Stop being a dingus. Play this. It's way better. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Anything else you've
it's
got to
hard.
say
It's
about
hard.
it, Steve, really?
It's hard to talk about games you emotionally love because it's just
The music's absolutely adore. Like I just love it. Like I was listening to it recently and like loads of Spotify edits of it and like orchestral mixes of it all, and it's like, oh yeah, that's so good. Just, It feels so hopeless sometimes. Like there's so little to grab onto with some of the music tracks. It's just like there's not a single resolving note in the entire thing until right at the end, and it's usually something horrible has happened, and it's like, oh shit, like so good. All right. No, that's good. We haven't got too much longer. We actually aren't doing too bad for timing though. That's been pretty good.
We're wrapping up quite nicely. We've gone
I
long
think
on a lot of other ones, haven't we? So
we're doing good by usual standards, but I'm not sure you. So what? aiming for?
Usually about 11 for a finish.
Well, we did go super long with Tom's one, but also we started super late, didn't we? So,
Oh, we started really late, yeah.
yeah.
Either way,
Right.
I love how chat's like, yeah, Final Fantasy VIII. Ooh, God, don't play that one.
Which is good because when I first started going to like MCM Expo, there were loads of like Final Fantasy VIII cosplays and shit, and people really liked it. So it's interesting to see how it hasn't aged quite well.
No.
Nonsense. I love 8.
I still love it, yeah.
It's weird. You can see they just made the whole thing as they went along, but they were having a good old time as they did it.
Right.
Where are we at?
I'm a big fan
Might as well
of the last one, so just whack them both up at the same time.
Yeah.
But damn.
Because I guess the genre is Zelda, because Zelda is a genre.
Yeah. Zelda-ing.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've seen our other top 10s, but for the category this is, Majora's Mask was my number 1 for this category, and Okami was Charlotte's number 1 for this category.
Okami is slowly working its way up to my games list. The more I play it on Switch, the more I like it.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm currently replaying it right now with Tanithi, and like it gets better as it goes on. It's fantastic. Oh, Cyrus!
Yeah, we have another Final Fantasy VIII fan in chat. Yes.
Go on, unite.
That's my friend Sarah from back home.
Oh,
How long you been
hello,
looking?
hello, Steve's friend Sarah. Or Syre.
Hi, Sarah.
Syre? Let me say it.
It's
but
funny.
yeah,
Go for it.
how to word this? Zelda is just like a great framework for enjoyable games. Like they are nice, kind of well arranged clockwork things. Like they're little worlds that run like clockwork. Everyone has a little role. The postman's here. The postman runs around. This guy stands and yells about stuff. This guy's building a wall. So it's a little world made of clockwork, and you have the ability to gather little tools that make you part of the clockwork and get involved in it, and they're just real satisfying world to be in. And on that level, Majora's Mask is a really good example of that because it has time. It's a clockwork in multiple dimensions, including time, and fantastic.
It forces you to be aware of what those little clockwork pieces are doing as well as you interact with all the different people and see what they're up to and how. And then as a result of that, I think James brought it up when he was talking about it. It's like the emotional impact of what's going on is heightened because of that. It's like, oh, I'm genuinely part of this world. I'm interested in it. And shit, they're just going about their day. They're just they're regular people existing in this sort of place. And I feel like a hero trying to save them. And that's why that game worked so well. It's like, that was the point, right? Link's the hero. Let's make him feel like one.
And to that extent, of all the Zeldas, it does feel like, the most rewarding once you do finally beat it. Because you've watched these people kind of, live quite a very sad last 3 days over and over again. And then finally you get the closure of saying, like, it's okay, it's over now. But then maybe it was all a dream anyway. Who knows? With Majora's Mask, with so many fan theories.
Yeah. But then every Zelda game tries to do something different, doesn't it? Like that was all about that. And then you've got Breath of the Wild, which is just like raw adventure. Kind of like Breath of the Wild was trying to do with like the seafaring and like the grand world exploration type thing. But they none of them have really failed, I don't think.
No Zelda, what they're attempting. Only Skyward Sword.
Yeah, that was I think that was another attempt at the Wind Waker type thing. It's like, let's make this thing, open world thing, and let's do it in sky this time instead of the sea. Let's see how that works.
I'd say if it wasn't for Skyward Sword, I don't think we'd have Wind Waker, because Nintendo needed to know what people didn't want Zelda to be, and Skyward Sword was such a corridor game. And then they were like, oh, okay, well, let's do A Link Between Worlds for a 3DS, and let's let people decide what order they do the temples in, and people... You know that Fallout meme? Everybody liked that. Okay, let's crank that to 11. But again...
Skyward Sword did some pretty good dungeons, though.
Oh, Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my least favourite Zelda game, but it has my favourite dungeon. which is weird.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
James's review. all the
That's
time,
my
isn't it?
my fucking logic.
It's so weird to review, but I like it.
Yeah, the fucking pirate ship where you're traveling through time and you're either on a dead pirate ship that's in a desert, but in some areas you activate an area that puts it back in time thousands of years, and suddenly it's an alive pirate ship and it's on an ocean, and you have to put these different areas into different periods of time to solve different puzzles. And it's such a fucking good stage. But even just then, yeah, it had good dungeons. It's just the world outside the dungeon, which is my favourite part of Zelda's, was
barely
just
there.
there was nothing. Yeah, it was just a corridor. And whereas Majora's Mask is very much so the opposite. The dungeons are quite forgettable, but the world outside of it has the most sort of for the size of the area the game has the most content. Most content per square mile, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Hi,
But it has
Charlotte.
to
Oh,
be
you
good.
came at a good time. Yeah, just saying Charlotte Okami being Charlotte's number 1, I think, wasn't it? And Majora's Mask's my number 2. So
I wasn't planning on talking about Okami much. I kind of had a general. Oh, who, don't say anything. Hands up if you have an idea where this number 1 is going.
well, I do, but I put it together for you. So
All right, but
It's interesting.
I was gonna kind of get a bit wishy-washy and talk about games making you feel stuff so much that you kind of forget the mechanism. I've talked about Zelda being nice as it is, a nice clockwork puzzle box, but also going back into formative gaming experience, Zelda is the first time a game has ever made me feel something.
okay.
Like not like the story, but like I think almost in any medium, certain combinations of sound, music, and visual just kind of can suddenly hit you and be like, "Oh, this is incredible."
And was that Majora's
first
Mask? Sorry, or
No, that was Link to the
Ocarina?
Past on SNES.
Oh, Link to the Past, really?
Yeah, so as a kid, I played games. Games are fun. You hit things, you jump on things. They're colourful, they're fun. And then I gathered the 3 pendants in Link to the Past, and I go to the Lost Woods, and like you emerge into the clearing, and animals are running around. You go over to the Master Sword, and you start to pull it, and suddenly the music just gets serious, and the music gets serious. The pendants come out and start to resonate, and like in slow motion, Link pulls the Master Sword. That was the first moment I ever got like a chill from a video game. Like, oh, this is serious now. I have the Master Sword. And
I know what you
I
mean.
have the sword.
I remember that scene very vividly, despite that being my first Zelda game. And you didn't get that feeling from Mario World, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mario World. Oh, the princess says, "Let's go picnic."
There's a
Happy music
princess in this
plays.
game? I thought I was just going on an adventure for the hell of it. What? But yeah, and then the scene that follows that as well, because you go through that scene getting a Master Sword feeling like such a badass, and then you think, oh, I'm going to go fucking finish the game, because you're a kid. You don't know how long this game's meant to be.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, there's a bad guy. I'm going to go fucking kill him. There's Zelda. Wait, where did Zelda go? Wait, where am I? What the fuck? And then you realise, oh, wow. I'm not even halfway through this game, am I?
Nope.
No, and then the whole fucking world changes, and yeah, as a kid, you're like, wow.
And beeline of this, of games being able to make you feel things to the extent you forget about the gaming. This line runs through to Ocarina of Time, which came out when I was 12, I think.
Okay.
And I was still just young enough to play that game without seeing the seams. So it was like, oh, this is a world. This is a real world. Like, you'll go about it, you'll try stuff, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to try and climb around that wall because there might be a skull up there. I hadn't yet learned enough about games to go like, oh, but that looks like, you can see that's a skybox, there's nothing over there. Like,
yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah,
that's very, very true, actually.
Sorry.
So I played that game just early enough for those feelings to be intact. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, just sorry to interrupt your story. It's just that feeling of what you're describing reminded me that I'm assuming no one's too fussed about spoilers for Ocarina of Time. It's been
Oh, no, go
billions
for
of
it.
years.
Yeah, you're
But,
a bit late to the park if you're still looking to play
yeah.
that game. So,
But as a kid, it always really bothered me that when you beat the game, the Lost Woods are fine, Death Mounting is fine, the Gorons are fine, but the Zora area is still frozen over. And as a kid, I was like, why aren't they saved? And after I beat the game, after even though I'd seen the credits and everything, I was trying to figure out how to unfreeze.
Oh yeah,
the Zora domain to the extent
there are a
that
lot
like,
of
yeah, go for it.
there are a lot of schoolyard. Oh, you can definitely unfreeze the Zoras by doing this.
Yeah, because even
Stand at this point and use Din's fire.
yeah, and as when you're a young Link, you see there's like torches behind the waterfalls. So I'm thinking like,
Yes.
oh fuck, do I light those and then teleport back to the Song of Time, the Temple of Time, before the fire runs out, and then become Adult Link, and then does the fire still being that melt the ice? And I had the same thing in Mario 64. I was determined to try and ride Yoshi after he yeets off the side of a fucking tower when you get all the stars. And it's like, well, he's Yoshi there. You can ride him. He's Yoshi. And so what I'm saying is that I can very much so identify that feeling of being a kid and not understanding that it's not a fictional world within a cartridge that has its limits. You still think anything's possible.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the 2 years between that and Majora's Mask, I adore Majora's Mask, but as I said earlier, I love it. Part of the appreciation is appreciating that this is a handcrafted thing. It's a beautiful mechanical clock. Like, you're aware of the systems governing it. You're not just like, you're not quite as immersed. You're still immersed. You're still wrapped up in the characters, but there's a degree of understanding.
Yeah, of understanding that there are limits. You're not going to be able to do absolutely everything in this game. Which, although it's crazy that some of those things that you're talking about being trapped within the limitations of a game at a stage in your life where you think it's all sort of real and anything's possible, it's really weird watching speedruns where those things suddenly become possible. Like, I was watching a Banjo-Kazooie speedrun, and as a kid, I always wanted to, like, you can transform into different things in the stages. And when you leave a stage, you have to transform back to Banjo-Kazooie as you break the game by being able to access places you shouldn't be able to. And as a kid, I always wanted to stay as an ant outside the stage because it was a really cool.
Speedrunners be like, hold my beer.
Yeah, and speedrunners like, oh, I'm going to be a bee for the third stage in the game. And I'm like, what? As an adult, seeing that, it was so weird because as a kid, I fucking dreamed about that. As a kid, I was trying to get it to work. I was trying to fucking... If someone showed me that as a kid, I'd be just... I don't know, maybe my mind's more blown as an adult because I gave up on that as a kid. And as an adult, I'm seeing it being real. It's just like, wait, what? Yeah, and just... It's that element of losing the childhood innocence and thinking it's an unlimited world trapped in a cartridge, and then being an adult seeing that, oh, it's another type of magic of just seeing a human's imagination put into a cartridge, and then seeing as an adult speedrunners fucking blur the lines a little bit and say like, oh yeah, it is the imagination and we're working with their mechanics, but we're going to break those mechanics and to make a game we wanted to play as a kid. Yeah.
Lovely.
Sorry. Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess where this is leading is
the big old number one.
Yeah, I didn't think I could quite let go of the seams that hold together games ever again. As I became an adult, like, I love games. Games that are emotional, they are beautiful, but it's hard to kind of. I didn't really believe that I could switch off and just be like, look at this world. I'm going that way. So you could probably see where this is going.
Shall I let her rip?
Yeah.
Had to be, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why I liked it so much
hang
as
on,
well.
I've messed up.
It doesn't.
It
never tries to say no. It never says do this, do that. It's like, nope.
Yeah.
Just
So
enjoy your game world, man.
Yeah. So we're talking like almost 80 years to be able to just forget everything and just get lost in a world.
Exactly.
I
I
got
love
anything
how
else.
this
I
is
got-
so
I got-
popular.
I got anything else to say. That's literally it. Like
We've
Breath-
said so much about Breath of the Wild across the
Breath,
course
Breath
of
of
these.
the Wild
Yeah.
made me feel about a game ways that I thought was utterly impossible as a jaded person who's played all the games and knows how games work.
It made me
Yes.
really love gaming again. That's one thing it really did. Is I was so kind of sick of single player games. I was so tired of it and so done with it. And I was pretty much at that point, just like, if it's not an online multiplayer game, I'm just not going to bother. And then this came along, and it just brought me back into the world of gaming in such a big way. And I don't know if that applies to you as well, Steve, but it sounds like it kind of might. Like, just a really jaded single player gamer. I was angry at them. I was like, oh god, they're all shit AAA bullshit. And like, I just didn't want to know. You couldn't sell me a game if you tried. And then suddenly I played this, and I thought, yeah, maybe games have got something to offer still. And
There
loved
was.
it.
Sorry. Based on what.
It's like, but you gotta do your little shy anime boy glasses as well, push them up
That's
and then
right.
start to. It's like, what do you?
No, Steve.
Love you, James.
Hearing both of you, I love you too. Hearing both
Yay,
you
love
and
you.
Steve talk just then jogged my memory about there was an element of this game. It wasn't the entire way through. There was one moment of the game that did make me feel a bit like a child, making me forget that games aren't just magical worlds trapped in boxes. And that was the. So you know, there's the three mild Breath of the Wild spoilers. They're not even plot related; they're just mechanic related, I guess. You know, there's the three dragons that fly around, based on Din, Naru, and Farore.
I was just over the moon when I figured out that they were relevant content. I was so happy with that.
I first spied one like disappearing over the horizon,
Yeah,
miles away,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What is that?" And I just diverted everything I was doing, and I went to look for it. And I didn't find it at all. So it was like a mystery for the next hour.
exactly. It was so good, and I just thought, how do I get there? And I'm like, wait a minute, I could just climb up the mountain, and I did. And I got to the top, he's not there. I'm like, shit, where's he gone? And then it's like a little glint on the floor, and I'm like, what is that? What was that? Just like, and it just, I've never really had that for a really long time in a game, where it's just been like, if you see a thing and you don't know what it is, you can figure it out. The game, you can go anywhere you want. You can, anything you need to do, and anything you can see in this world is yours to access, with a few exceptions, like right on the edge of the world and stuff. But just that level of freedom and the ability to let my curiosity be curious and have that fulfilled immediately by the game mechanics, fucking sick. Well done.
And I think that because we've talked so much about this game, so many people, something I've becoming more and more evident is people have different experiences with this game based on how they played it, and not even what they chose to play, but rather what the game decided to present them with. Because my first experience with the dragons wasn't me spotting one in the sky and going, what the fuck? It was that I got a bit lost. I went a bit off track a bit too early on in the game, and I decided I'm going to climb this fucking mountain, and then there's a fucking huge centaur in the road telling me not to climb this mountain or I'm going to kill you. I was like, I'm just going to go around that centaur. And then I climb to the top of a mountain, and that's when you see the blue one of those dragons, and like he's frozen at first. I think you have to like free him, and just the scale of what that dragon was. And
yeah,
suddenly,
they're just huge, aren't they?
Yeah, and just because you've spent the last like 40 minutes trying to climb this mountain and trying to eat your food, and
Isn't that the dragon also have to shoot the scales off?
Yeah, yeah, those other you can do those, and
that's
in order to sort of tame and calm down that dragon, you have to shoot the little evil eyes on it. And
that's what the eyes, yeah.
And
you have to do all of that using the game world in sort of any way you can think of.
Yeah,
because it doesn't tell you what to do.
It's so fucking clever, because you spend 40 minutes trying to climb this fucking mountain, and then you get to the top thinking, what the fuck's at the top? What the fuck's at the top? You see, it's a giant fucking dragon, and I had no idea where dragons was big. I set it free, and I realised it's flying really quickly all the way around this entire mountain I just spent the last hour trying to navigate, and now I've got to try and catch up with it. I just realized entire area wasn't there for the sake of it. It was you climbing a mountain was teaching you how to use this area to fight this boss that is optional, isn't even part of the main game. And just like that feeling of accidentally discovering a dragon that was larger than anything I'd ever seen in any Zelda game was just massive to me. And then I end up fucking... Sorry.
No, carry on.
And then just like, I end up fighting it, and seriously, I didn't even have the protect the clothes for it. I was just like taking potions and eating food to survive. And I kid you not, I fucking beat that dragon on my last arrow. And just
that's
that
big.
That whole feeling was just, that was exactly what Steve was talking about for me. That was being brought back into being put into a child's body again, and just feeling like in that moment anything is possible, because I'd never seen anything like that in a Zelda game, of just having this huge area with this massive monster that was appeared out of nowhere and wasn't foreshadowed as a boss of a temple or anything. Just suddenly,
it's not even content you'd need to experience or do. It's just sort of there, which is great. I mean, it's kind of the epicness of it was kind of there with like Shadow of the Colossus and stuff, right? But
I hadn't played that either.
Having it be just something you don't need to interact with, and just like in a game where you're not expecting it, and then seeing this massive dragon just turn up, you're like, okay, what the fuck? And then I suppose the Divine Beasts do that as well. When you finally see one and find it, you're like, oh, that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, but at least you were told about those in advance. They're a big thing, and you go inside.
That's kind of a parallel with Shadow of the Colossus. Like, there's big things, go get them.
Yeah.
Kid. I mean, or don't. It's up to you. Do what you want. Okay, I won't. And just go kill Ganondorf. Fuck it. That's it's so. I love it. I love it so much. I still haven't finished it. Still not there. Still not done. I just take it in a little bite-sized chunk. Savor it. You know, like a nice lobster bisque. Just a little spoon at a time. Don't sip it. No, they're ridiculous. Anyway, that's enough soup bullshit.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve. I've talked a lot over the past 10 minutes.
I didn't have much to say about this.
We've both just started talking about it. Sorry.
That's grand. I literally had the story about feeling games as if you're a kid again, and that was it.
I'm glad you shared that with us, because it brought back a lot of memories for me, especially with you talking about having similar experiences with Mario World as well. It felt quite personal to me as well. But just
it was a very good sort of anecdote to start this with. Like, that's very, very true of Breath of the Wild. It does do that. It's a sneaky boy. Love it. I'm all happy now. I'm all warm and pleased. Thanks, video games, for being video games.
Yeah. Who knows what we got Breath of the Wild 2, which
I know we fucking do. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Which just it's funny how much Majora's Mask and Breath of the Wild have both turned up on all these lists, and they're making a game that combines both of them. It's just
I can't wait. It's gonna be so good. I mean, the mechanics of Breath of the Wild in terms of like an open world game, just delightful. Like, nothing feels difficult to do either. Like, you want to climb the mountain? No, you can just jump at it. All right. Yeah. That's it. There's no, we got to shimmy around certain things. There's no like quick time bullshit when you're climbing up. It's like, no, you climb up that mountain. Can you make it? Yes or no? Can you, like, are you falling down? Can you see somewhere to grab yourself and stop? Nope. Well, you're going to hit the floor. Sucks to be you. Like, and even just the combat. What do you want to do? How do you want to deal with this camp of little dudes? Do you want to fight them at all? Doesn't matter. It's up to you. Have fun. Like, okay, I'll have as much fun as I want. Fuck you, Nintendo. Just, damn it. They've got me again.
I've had some wonderful cheesy times trying to fight camps I was not remotely equipped for.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the joy of it, because you know you can do it in your heart, but in your head, no.
Gliders and bombs away.
Yeah. Or pushing, like, drawing them to a mountain, climbing and then pushing a rock onto them and just watching them get bowled out. Like, yay! It worked!
That look on your face tells me that you have no recollection of
Death by map icon?
What do you mean?
I'm trying to figure out death by map would be. Oh, what you mean, just where you don't just fall off a cliff and suddenly die because you're not supposed to go that way?
Yeah, we need a definition for the concept.
Yeah, we'll all just sit here in silence until we get one. Okay, so you're in an open world game. Yeah, real life. It's not a very good game. We are actually just sitting inside.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Because it's worse for me because I've got Parsec muted, so I have no game review.
Oh, are you talking about kind of Ubisoft game where you're not interacting with the world, you're interacting with the mini map, which is just a bunch of icons
yeah.
Oh,
that
yeah,
you're
exclamation
making-
marks saying you got
that
quest.
you're making
Yeah.
disappear from your map rather than actually enjoying the game.
Mm.
My daughter.
That's true. All of the
That's the-
mini-map icons you put on yourself, don't you? Except for the
Yeah.
Divine Beasts. That's
Yeah,
about it.
and you do it out of curiosity, don't you? Because you think, oh, that looks interesting. What is that? Like, if you find, like, say, a fairy fountain, you're like, oh, that's getting a ping marker, for example. But the thing I noticed that's very true of open world games in general is, like, when I'm doing, like, I do it in, wow, it depends on the game. But let's use Rust for an example, because that's the most recent example of me doing it. I know exactly where I want to go at all times in that game. And a lot of the time I'll navigate by constantly flicking the map on to make sure I'm going the right direction. Whereas in Breath of the Wild, I'm looking at the right direction constantly. I'm just playing it. I like, oh, I'm going to that mountain over there because there's a glowing blue thing on the top. I don't know what's going on up there, but I'm going to find out. I just run towards it and find a way up there because I can like think of where it is. But if I need to like, oh, you need to get to this very specific marker. Oh, okay, well, I can't see the marker in the world because it's not a thing. It's probably like a house or something over a cliff or something. I can't see it, so I have to look at the map to get there. Whereas Breath of the Wild's like, oh, there's a big dragon, go get it. Yeah, okay, let me just check the map. Oh, wait, I don't need to because it's fucking right there. you just go and enjoy it. But yeah, that's super true, Charlotte. That's very, yeah.
Shout out to the geographical design of this game, because I reckon with this game, at least at the time I was playing it, you could randomly pop at any point in this game world, and I could get my bearings just from the horizon.
Oh, all the landmarks. Yeah.
You can,
That's
the
some praise.
There's a few weird things, like you can't, like say the desert area, you can't see it at all until you've crossed over the lip of the mountain to get there, for example. That's but I suppose that's good. There are some reference points to it if you're in the right place. Like you can see the palm trees and stuff. Like, oh, okay, it's down there. But generally, if you're in the center with Hyrule, you know where you are. If you've played enough, you might have accidentally just gone straight to Hyrule, and you're like, oh shit, I'm dead. There's giant spider things everywhere. How do I deal with them? Game's not gonna fucking tell you how. It's so good. Like just getting wrecked by these monsters that just shoot lasers at you. And you just like you hear that like piano tingling and you're like okay, here we go again. You get your level 1 shield out that's going to take half a blast of it and like cower into a corner and start crying as it bleeds you to death with its giant lizard arms. Oh, I love it. Beautiful game. Thanks for mentioning it again, Steve. I love it when people talk about Breath of the Wild.
I'm glad we still had shit to say about it despite it.
Oh, I'll never run out.
Like the third appearance?
I think this is now the 5th or 6th. it comes up a lot.
Yeah.
I think all lists but 2 have had this on. So
mine, yours, Charlotte's, some cats as well, wasn't it? And now Steve's.
Yeah, some cats. So that's 5 at least.
Yeah, it wasn't in Autumn's.
No. Switchless scrubs. For now, things might change. They are by the sounds of it.
Well, that's
I
an
don't
interesting
remember. No, I think I
thing,
might have
isn't
been it, but anyway. Huh?
This is on everyone's list we've had so far who has a Switch.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
Got a
normally
place.
really high up.
Yeah, it's very high up on each list. But it's just... look at that.
This I chose this trailer because I watched this trailer for about 2 months, like January, March of 20.
It's a good trailer.
Like if I was doing stuff, I just put this on TV on loop and just watch it for an hour.
It shows all the waifus. It shows all the husbandos.
And it has the bit where the Zelda theme kicks in. And
Yeah.
oof. Yeah.
Open your eyes.
I think we're good.
Yep.
This
Seems
game
good.
wins.
Can we
everything.
do the list again just so we can get to Breath of the Wild again? We just run through it again real quick. And then we'll all be really excited when we get back to it. Oh my god, it's Breath of the Wild! Yeah.
What was the list anyway? So to recap, it was Oh wait, I need to transition them all. It was
Yeah, we'll just
Yakuza
do the top.
0,
4
followed
swords. Bless your heart.
GoldenEye.
It's not a Zelda
Oh,
game.
4 Swords. No, it wasn't. Yeah,
It's not. It's not a real game.
Hollow Knight. Mother 3. Splatoon 2.
5 Rhythm Heaven.
Viva.
4
Valkyria Chronicles. Super Mario World once it transitions. Final Fantasy 9. And Breath of the Wild. This has definitely been the list that's closest to my heart out of everyone so far.
I like this list a lot. I've really enjoyed it.
One nice commonality I've seen in a lot of my entries is that there's lots of later entry series, kind of modern games. Because I don't dislike the older games, but it makes me happy that like gaming as a medium gets refined and refined so much. Like there's still scope to do cool.
Yeah, I think like out of the because Hollow Knight is the latest.
Sarah, what number did you come in?
Smash was
I did Smash as the runner-up for number 9 because it was one of our couch gameplay games.
Yeah,
but
GoldenEye won out.
But I gave GoldenEye the winner because GoldenEye is the game that everyone can play, while Smash is the game that half the room who have GameCubes can play, and the other half of the room who don't have GameCubes hate playing.
James makes a lot about that kind of like whenever we talk about playing a game like a fighting game or something, it generally doesn't work and will never work unless you can learn at the same speed from the same point. So
it depends on the game, because I found speedrunners was a good example of me being able to catch up really quickly to everyone else.
Yeah, because that's super simple mechanically. There's only a few buttons and they always do the same thing. The directions don't influence those at all. There's no timing against the other player. It's just you versus the environment most of the time. Whereas a fighting game, they're so mechanically thick, just like full of shit you need to learn, and like frame counting, and like just knowing exactly when to press buttons, knowing when to punish, when not to. You're like so much crap. And if someone's got an edge on you on that and you are just getting your ass beat, because a fighting game has that potential, you can be so good by comparison that you can just destroy someone and they have no say in it, and then you can't learn. There's no way. It just won't work at that point.
But sometimes I like to weaponize that. Like if I'm in a room with these days with Smash Bros being 8-player, like if I'm in a room with 6 people that have never played it and 2 people that have played it a lot, I'll just do 6 versus 2 handicap match. Let's have a go at it.
Yeah. And when you play Smash with me on the train, you like secretly haven't even plugged in your Joy-Cons, and you're just sitting there like, oh yeah, this is really difficult to play against. You're so good at Smash, and then you just land one attack and I die. Like, yeah, I'm having fun.
That is.
I still like our train smashes. It's still always fun.
Yeah, that's why I like playing as Incineroar, because I can give you the feeling that you're winning, and then in one attack I can be winning.
Yeah,
it's just
I don't know how to avoid the grab thing. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, but it's always a surprise.
Yeah.
Like, am I going off the stage or not? Who knows? I'm sure I'm gonna find out in a second. Whee! Just dead.
Man, imagine someone tuned in now.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, we don't. Yeah, we don't worry about that. Anyway, we should probably wrap up soon because it is coming on pretty late.
Oh yeah.
Sarah's just bringing up the handicap rule which I invented for Smash, which is whoever wins play as a random character the next match. Okay. That tends to work quite nicely.
That
works.
We started doing that for Leroy in the competition at yours, didn't we? No, Leroy's got to pick a random and play against 3 people.
Dude, Leroy is fucking insane at fighting games. You can't beat him. Just don't even try. Yeah.
No, it's no point.
I've beaten him once at Street Fighter. I got a perfect time in one match in Street Fighter, and that's when I stopped playing Street Fighter, because I'm never going to be able to get better than that. But man, I used to... Like, if anyone knows how stubborn I am in just anything competitive...
Anything in life.
It's mostly Leroy's fault, because of all the... Just for years that we would play.
You can't
Smash
swallow
Brothers.
that ass beat, can you?
I know. We would just play Smash Brothers Brawl until like 4 a.m. and he'd beat me every time. But it would always be just close enough where I knew I could beat him if I got 1 or 2 extra hits in. So it's like, just one more fight, one more fight, one more fight.
Let's just go again.
Yeah, I'd win like 10% of the time maybe, but I always felt there was that possibility that I could beat him. Whereas like if I played someone in, I don't know, if I played him in like Mortal Kombat, which I know he's super into, if I played Cameron in Soul Calibur or Soul Blade, I just know I wouldn't stand a chance. I wouldn't bother.
No, you just get your ass beat. Like, there's no point.
Yeah.
Like, if people know their game, like you can't win unless you're also like on a decent level. Like there's no point if you don't. Especially fighting games. Fighting games are the worst for that.
That's something I want to do. Out of everyone we know, I want to find a person who's best at one fighting game, and I'm gonna hope that's a fighting game that Leroy has never played, and I'm gonna give Leroy 1 hour to play that game, and I bet you he'll be able to beat that person at that game. He's just, ugh. I don't know how he does it. He just breathes fundamentals.
I was gonna say, like, surely you have to have some game experience before you can be good at it.
He just knows fundamentals in video games, though. Like, unless it does something really crazy where, like, there's no block button and you have to parry everything instead, then he'll be able to adapt what he knows already very quickly.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's kind of like me and shooters. Like, they're all the same game. Doesn't matter what the guns are. Doesn't matter what the movement is. Like, it's fairly straightforward, right? But I suppose he's on another level to like my relative skill in a video game with fighting games because damn, he's good at Smash. Like, does he not do tournaments and stuff? Like, he should definitely go to cons and just rumble people. Like, give him a good hustle. So yeah, this is my first time playing, and like plugs in his Polly Pocket game controller.
He's not quite good enough to be at FGC. To go to tournaments and like win.
Oh no, but I mean, he could go to like
1%.
local tournaments and just wreck people.
Yeah, he could definitely.
Not that you'd ever want to go to a Smash tournament because fuck that. The worst people in the world.
I'll go to the ones at conventions that I'm at already.
Oh, of course, yeah, because you already know what to expect at a con. Like, it's all right.
I wouldn't go out of my way to go.
It's just a bit of fun then, anyway, isn't it? Like, you just go in a little tournament.
Yeah. Plus, I like it when like our mates turn up and cheer me on. That makes me feel really good. Like,
yeah,
even if I lose,
they also
like...
said they enjoyed cheering you on. Just if you didn't know about that, so it was a wholesome story on both ends.
because I'll always lose, and I'm like, yeah, but I got my mates here, so I win. Really, ha ha ha.
Yeah,
and I just walk out.
It's even more wholesome. Stop.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have good Mondays at this rate. You stop that.
Oh, that's impossible. Oh, fuck.
Bad
It's Sunday, isn't it?
Which is why I want to go to bed.
Yeah. So, sorry about that tangent and keeping everyone awake.
It's nice though. It's good to have little chit chats.
Yeah.
And game's good.
Yeah,
games
are good.
The darndest thing. So that is another top 10. I don't believe we have another one scheduled imminently for Wednesday.
Kerry is due at some point once she's ready.
Okay.
I need to I need to chat with Maz because Maz sent me her top 10 ages ago, but I've been a bastard and haven't booked it in.
Been a bastard. Yeah, I've got Sarah and Lou to keep up with. Just need to check what they're doing now that you're back and I'm back, and we can actually do this. And then we'll most likely have a top 10 Wednesday, I assume, though, right? I'm sure.
Well, if not, we'll have something to.
Yeah,
play.
if not, buckle up for Overcooked and some other garbage or whatever we end up doing. So. Maybe the Streets of Rage spin-off thing. Oh, anyway, thanks everyone for watching.
Before we go, I just have to ask both of you because I think it's a game you'd both like. Have either of you played Lethal League?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh, it's basically a fighting game. Yes. It's a fighting game with squash mechanics. You know, like the game Squash where you bounce a ball against a wall. Yeah,
I haven't played it, but you've already told me about this, and I was like,
it's coming out on the Switch like next month.
Okay,
I think.
Great.
And that's going to be like my new convention game because it's like a sports game crossed with a fighting game. It's so fucking addictive.
So, Get Good by Hibana.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Sweet. Well, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Steve, for coming as well.
Yeah,
it's been
a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you, James, for coming back.
I think I even sold copies of 2 of my obscure games that I was going to yammer at.
Honestly,
Good
I need to
time.
fucking figure out which one of these games I'm going to play first.
Yeah, Valkyrie seems really cool. I don't think it's my sort of thing because the immersion breaks as soon as I realised that all the people were just standing around and will fire Overwatch at me if I get too close. Like, oh no! But other than that,
I got Yakuza.
Yakuza,
all of these
I'm
I've played the
really
shit out
sold
of.
now.
It's basically all the
Rhythm
games I
Heaven
haven't
is
already
great.
finished.
Final Fantasy already like that, and then yeah, I've already played that. So Mother, I'm
Yeah.
a bit more interested in the Earthbound series because everyone's saying they're good.
I'd be very interested to see how you
Just
get
not.
on with it because everything that Steve's said, I totally agree with. But it's just the combat and the core gameplay is very bare bones. It's a matter of can the world pull you through that or not.
Yeah, well, same with Doki Doki, right? That's really bare bones gameplay, but
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, that's
yeah.
that's a visual novel, though, isn't it? So it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
Anyway.
finish. Well, not finish. I need to actually do Psychonauts because I didn't do
Did
it
you
while you
even
were
start
gone.
that?
Because Pedro came out and I played that instead.
Oh yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
Which is I love that game. It's really good. But yeah. Any closing statements on video games other than damn, they're definitely video games because they sure are. No, we're all good.
While the extra people are here, though, quickly.
Also, the other reason I didn't do Psychonauts is because the majority of people that wanted me to watch Psychonauts were cosplay crunching or getting ready for the SunnyCon. I was just like, okay, I'll just wait. No biggie. Like, I didn't think it was worth it if just Nerd was watching.
I know it's something Charlotte would most likely like to watch
Yeah.
as well.
Okay. Well, I will do it. It won't be on a Wednesday or a Sunday though. It will be on a different day. Well, I'm not really sure exactly when. So,
Ooh.
but
Yes.
bye, Steve's game.
It's a game.
That is a fantastic use for the hide feature.
Yeah. Right, I'm just gonna leave it on this screen. You guys can leave now if you want. I'm just gonna leave it on this screen for about 5 minutes and close the revcams.
Can't you just download an auto clicker?
Shall I just leave the stream all night of an old school RuneScape
Buy
auto
Steve's
clicker?
game, flash it up.
I think just about everyone in this chat has bought my game already. Lightness, so
Well,
it's
buy it
fine.
on the other platform then. Buy it if you've
Yeah,
got a Switch,
buy it
on that
again.
as well.
Buy another console and buy it again.
Right, cool. Well, much love to everybody for watching. Much love to video games for existing.
Yeah.
Much love for you guys for.
Thanks for the
talking to
follows.
me.
If you haven't already followed, do that anyway. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for following, Kappa. Was it Sarah? Syray? I don't know if you have followed already. I can't remember.
no, it was Denithi who followed.
Oh, it was Denise that followed. Oh, of course, yeah, Goomba.
I haven't followed anyone on Twitch because I don't understand how Twitch works. I just
Suck.
you guys. I'll follow you. I'll follow you. That will do a thing.
You follow them and then
Yeah,
their follow account goes up
it's
and it makes us
effectively
feel
meaningless following. It doesn't mean anything. But
We
Twitch
just want
wants
to get that. We just want to get that up to 150 for the sake of a nice round number.
because that's how many Pokemon there are.
Oh shit, you're right. Why isn't it 151 then? I only just got
because he's not in that game because they won't let you port him in. I don't know. Also, I realised now that I have this, if I tune it right, I can play the Burdock Bones music on it. I just need to figure that out now. I was going to play it as an outro, but realised it's not in the correct tuning to do that. So, yeah. Anyway, buy Steve's game.
We did talk about it at the beginning of the stream, so you guys will have to watch the VOD to see us talk about.
I basically said, if you like my list of games, all of my weird tastes have gone into my own game.
Is the Raise Down Players a fusion of all these 10 games then, would you say?
Raise Down Players is kind of a weird mash. If it's a mashup of anything, it's Paper Mario mixed with Majora's Mask mixed with Rhythm Heaven.
Oh, why haven't I played it yet? That sounds great.
Also, thank you for the follow. See, you don't ask, you don't get.
Sweet.
Is that you? Are you trying to do Lost Woods?
No, I'm just playing it.
Oh, it sounds like you could do Lost Woods. See, Steve's trapped in our purgatory of never.
Yeah, I've got to
signing
end your
off.
damn stream.
Yeah, so well, let Steve go to bed now. All right, thanks everyone. Lots of love. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Night all.